I feel like you became Catholic about 5 seconds before it became cool.
Do you think I made it cool?
Maybe it was you. It must be weird to be expected to be funny.
Yeah. You show up at a place and they're like, we're so stoked you're here. This is going to be our funniest episode of all time. Like, I'm not doing bits, dude. I'm just here to be me.
Tell me about why someone would cut their nose off for magic and what the point is there.
It's about sacrifice. It's a mockery of the sacrifice to God. Black magic, I'm like, oh, you're just doing reverse Catholicism.
Yeah.
You guys are obsessed with us. After shows, I started to have people confront me and be like, I want my money back.
No, you haven't.
Yes.
Tell me how that conversation goes.
The obsession with balance in marriage is gone. You're not two people, you're one person. There's nothing balanced about this. I want to get to the point where I wake up and I want to interpret reality based on what my wife and kids need.
Come on. But I know that if I did do that, I could actually finally be happy.
I know.
So what's the difference between the sugar-free? Yeah, this is 0 sugar, but why do you care? I mean, if you're drinking a Red Bull, a bedroll,
if you drink 2 bedrolls a day, that adds up quick.
With sugar.
That's like a meal.
But what about the caffeine alone will kill you, won't it?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't tell that there's sugar in that. It's very sweet.
It's very strong. I haven't had a Red Bull in a minute.
No.
Or a bedroll.
Bedroll.
A bedroll. Yeah, this is good. Dude, we're going to get fired up. About halfway through the podcast,
Yeah,
we're going to take our shirts off.
Stick around, it's going to be great.
You're just going to have your jacket tied to your forehead. We're sweating. This is good.
Oh, man. Thanks for coming on again. It's always nice to talk to people I want to talk to.
I know it, right?
Yeah. Unlike that other guy. Everyone who's watching the show is like, hey, I was on his show.
I know. This is the thing where you always say like something professionally nice about someone, and then you think to yourself, what if the other people I'm professional with? But then you go, if they're being insecure, then they know it's
on them.
That's on them.
I'll be honest, though. People don't believe me when I tell them this, but I just interview who I want to talk to.
Yeah.
And it really works for me because I don't have a poker face. So if I don't want to talk to you, I don't know how to pretend.
I think I know I've seen you talk to people you don't want to talk to.
Have you?
I don't think I've ever watched
on a show or in person?
In person. I've seen you in person talk to quite a few people where you're like, and you're very gracious and kind.
Oh, that's good.
But I see myself in you, which is why
Really?
I'm watching you absorb the encounter, and maybe it's a little awkward or inappropriate or strange, and you're so gracious, but I can feel you kind of shifting gears. Do you know what I mean?
And do you watch me look at me and go, am I like that? Or
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what I do. I look at you and I go, similar kind of vibes here.
Don't do that.
Yeah, no.
Look how bad it
Don't do
looks.
anything. He says, oh, he's being so Australian right now. I gotta.
Yeah. Now, you said you're moving into a house and the 2 things you care about are a garage and a study.
Yes, sir.
Tell me
Those are the only 2 things. We're moving. I told my wife, you do anything you want. The yard, the home, the neighborhood, all of it, you can just be in charge of. I don't care. The things that are most important to me are, the most important thing is that I'm out in the country, which is a given, right? We're in Utah, we're out in the middle of nowhere. But then I need a study so I can technically kind of like your office. You're kind of killing it right now. Yeah, you're doing great right here. So a little study area where I can read my little books and write on my fake typewriter that's actually a digital thing.
Yes.
And
Typewrite? Is that what it's called? Or
yeah.
Free type or free write or something like that?
Yes. Yeah. Or a bring your own keyboard is what it's called. Mine is called. And then I need a garage, not for a car. That's lame stuff. Cars can just live outside. They're made of metal. What you can do inside your garage is you can get jacked, okay? And that's the most important thing you can do in there, followed closely by playing Warhammer. Those 2 things.
Now, is Warhammer, I never played it, is that a game with little figurines?
It is.
They look really neat.
They do.
And is that forgive the stupid question, but
No.
how many people do you play it with?
You can play it with like multiple people. Very often it's a one-on-one game though.
Okay.
Yeah. And you like
sounds
build the models
amazing.
and you paint them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a whole hobby. It's very fun. I enjoy it. And I find the guys who do it are always like really laid back and cool and artistic and like...
Is it autistic or?
Yes.
Artistic,
autistic. You know what? There's a Venn
Yeah,
diagram. And they're in there for sure.
No, I find it very. When I went to a comic book store with my son recently, and we saw all the guys back there, and there's just something really neat about the landscape that you build. Have you ever built?
Oh yeah, big time, big time. And I go even nerdier.
Yeah.
So the Warhammer guys, there's a group of people they look at and they go, "Whoa, you guys are pretty nerdy," and I'm with that group also.
Really?
So they're looking at guys who do something called historicals. So I've painted like 10,000 little Napoleonic soldiers, and then you move them around the board, and you do a lot of complicated math, and you play out like the Battle of Eylau or whatever.
So those guys look at the Warhammer guys as jocks.
Yes,
Yeah, like
genuinely yes.
unsophisticated.
And then those historical guys look at a different group of guys like, these guys are dorks. And I'm also with those guys.
Well, what's that one?
Trains, brother. Big time.
Just trains?
Just model trains and model boats.
What's the nerdiest you can get in the kind of board game community?
In the board game community?
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank
In
you.
the board game community, the nerdiest you can get is simulating World War or like war games, which I also do. So there's a game called Advanced Squad Leader.
And that's different to this history
That's
one?
different to this stuff because it's a self-contained board game with cardboard chits, and the rule book is this thick, and it takes like hours and hours and hours to play, and it's a simulation. You're on the table simulating like the dissipation of smoke as your soldiers run across the street, and like you've got like the actual for real city plans of Stalingrad, and you're looking through the sewer trying to flank Russians, or whatever you're up to.
So you've told me in the past that you have an amazing imagination. That
Yes.
You can sit there, shut your eyes, and go somewhere.
Right.
Do you think that's why you love this stuff so much?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anytime I'm playing, like, I mean, I literally sometimes my daughter like just has, she's like got to take toys into the shower or whatever. And sometimes I'm like, dude, if I had a Batman in the shower though, you know what I mean? Like I'm an imaginer, so I could still play. So I love it. Anytime I'm like, I got a bunch of soldiers on the table, I'm like loving it. I play against myself.
Really?
Yeah, that's like one level upgraded super nerdy. This is the stuff like when I was a heathen, when I was a different type of person. I was in New York and I went on a date with a very, very well-to-do woman, and I brought her home to my apartment, and I thought, this is going great. I'm in New York, this beautiful lawyer lady's in my apartment, and she saw my board game collection, and she said, "Excuse me, I have to go," and she left.
Is that right?
And never talked to me for the rest of my life, yeah.
And you're sure that's why she left?
Yes, I'm 100% positive. The look on her face as she saw that I had a walk-in closet not filled with clothes, but 100 board games of varying difficulties and degrees, all about war.
Here's what I love about that. The fact that it's in a closet means you had to usher her in to show her.
I did,
on
yes.
purpose.
Yes.
She didn't stumble across it.
Nope,
You
I said-
went, this'll impress
I said,
her.
want to see something cool? And I was wrong. But you know what? The Lord works in mysterious ways, because that was very close to my conversion. And you know what? I don't need to be hanging out with some woman I don't know.
Lawyer woman who doesn't like games.
And do you know what I did do? Stand in that room and imagine playing one of my favorite board games. Sometimes my wife walks in and I just stand in my office and I'll look at a rule book for like an hour. And that's like, in my head, I play the game.
See, what is that? What is that called?
I don't know. I'm just enjoying, like, I really, like, sometimes all I have to do is set the pieces out to begin the game, and then I just look at it and I can imagine the game playing out, and it's really satisfying.
That is remarkable.
And I can do that and then actually play the game. Like, and my strategies are the things they usually work out.
So could you do that with chess?
I'm bad at chess, but I could.
I could have a bad game of chess.
I'm like I'm like a 1500 rated player on like
the fact
bullet
that
chess
you even
and stuff.
know where you are on the ladder.
But like that's playing bullet chess, which is like you have a second to make a move.
Yeah.
And so 1500 is like decent, it's above average, I would guess. But like that version of chess is the dumb guy version that's the jock version of chess. Yeah. What I really want to play is like a 10-minute timer where
you remember Father Jason Sharon?
Yeah, yeah.
He's brilliant at chess.
Is he?
Yeah, shockingly good.
My brother is very good at chess. People who are good at chess blow my mind. I can hold the pieces in my mind, but there are people who they visualize the board in such a way that they're just so familiar with it that it just takes years to get.
I once wanted to get good at chess, and so I thought, well, the way I'll do it is I'll download it on my iPad, and then I'll just play the computer, and no one needs to know how terrible I am. And so I'm sitting on this flight and I open up my chess game and the guy next to me leaned in and went, "Oh, chess, cool." And he was watching me and I'm like, "Oh,
That's so.
no.
I would literally turn it off and start block blasting. I would just start doodling really inappropriate. Just
Hey, stop watching my screen."
just drawing your plane crashing. He's looking at you like, "Oh my God." You're like, yeah, don't look at this.
Because Jimmy Akin has this, is neurodivergent, the way to put it.
Yeah.
People who, he's able to see things and he sees colors when he hears music.
Dude, Jimmy Akin is sliding between realms. He's out of the Matrix, man. Morpheus offered him the pills and he took both at once. That's what happened to Jimmy Akin. So now he's on another level, dude. I love that guy. I've never met. He's the only Catholic superhero that I haven't met. I saw the Pope.
When?
I saw the Pope before Jimmy Akin. I went to Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For that, what was it?
It was I just saw him give an address.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went for my baby moon. Well, me and my wife were joking. We called it our white trash honeymoon.
Okay.
Because we didn't go on a honeymoon after we got married because I had so much work, and so we had to wait. By the time we went on the honeymoon, she was 7 months pregnant.
Okay.
So it looks like we got married while she's 7 months pregnant, and now we're on a honeymoon in Rome. So we called it the trailer trash honeymoon, white trash honeymoon. It was pretty fun. But yeah, we went and saw the Pope. I yelled out, "You're the Pope that's eating the most hot dogs." And he gave me the thumbs. Yeah, I am the Pope that's eating the most hot dogs.
Because he's from America? Or?
Because he's from Chicago.
Okay.
He's a hot dog guy.
Chicago,
No,
hot dog place?
are you
Kidding me? No. What?
are you? Do you think there's a Pope that's eating more hot dogs?
Now that I think of it, no.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Exactly.
Do you think he heard you say that?
I hope he did. I hope he knows. I think he knows. He has to know.
Yeah.
I love you. You've eaten the most hot dogs of any Pope.
You know, when he became Pope, his brothers would say he still plays Wordle with them.
Yes.
I would break my phone and just disconnect from every other.
If you became the Pope,
I think I'd do that.
I think I would need to play Wordle with my brother more than ever.
How about this? How about, what was the game? Warhammer?
Yeah.
What about Warhammer in the Vatican and you invite your closest bros?
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. That would be so cool.
Do that?
Yeah.
Would you make me a cardinal?
That
Would you make me a cardinal?
Oh, dude, I would be the worst Pope. You know how you look at church history and sometimes something crazy happens and then we get like a wild Pope. Mm. And then as I was converting, I'm looking into these scandals and I'm like, very serious. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, men are sick. Yeah, the church is for sick men. This makes sense. But now that I'm like so Catholic, like it just is. I just am Catholic. I look at the bad Pope and I go, that'd be me. I would also be the bad one. That would immediately just like, let's play baseball in the Vatican. And also, I guess I'll have a girlfriend. You know, just the worst, like how a lay person ends up as a Pope is so fun. Or just the worst guy.
Yeah.
And now I think about it and I go, yeah, I'm not better.
It's best that he does it and I don't.
Yeah. So truly thank God for the Pope. He's doing a great job as compared to how I would do.
So whenever we're doubting Pope Leo, just think of Shayne Smith playing baseball.
Exactly. And Warhammer,
Yeah.
the Swiss Guard all patiently watching me play Warhammer.
Passing you Diet Cokes.
I know. Let me hold your halberd, please. Let me hold it. I feel powerful when I have the blade.
Oh, man, this is good. So I feel like you became Catholic about 5 seconds before it became cool.
Isn't that crazy?
Do you think of that?
Do you think I made it cool? Do you think
Possibly.
I might have
Maybe it was you.
busted it wide open and everyone's like, dude, if Shayne's doing it, like, I guess we should be Catholic. Yeah, it is cool now. A lot of people are Catholic. I think that 2026 is the very first year I've gotten more positivity than negativity.
Really?
And I've gotten a decent amount of negativity, but
Didn't you get death threats?
last year was crazy. The year before that, the first year I converted, was that 2023? Time is flying by. That was a bad one. Like, I mean, people threatening my family, my work, my friends. Yeah, that was crazy.
Because you're so that's so funny. It's so ironic, isn't it? Like, you're joining a hateful religion. We're going to kill you.
No, totally. That was the thing where they were like, I can't believe. And then they call you like a flip-flopper. Which makes sense. To flip-flop, I think you need to go, I would need to
Hold the position, abandon the position.
and then re-hold the position.
Yeah.
And even then, why would you be mad? I don't know. Anyway, but they were mad that I changed my mind. And I was like, but isn't it your mission to change people's minds? So if you're mad at me for changing my mind, wouldn't someone who you're trying to bring to your position then feel less than based on the fact that changing your mind is bad? Question mark.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am really excited to tell you that I have partnered with Theotokos Rosaries. These are, without a doubt, the most beautiful rosaries I have ever seen in my life. Theotokos Rosaries sent me one maybe about a year ago or so, and I remember being absolutely blown away. You probably heard me talking about it. I've sent one to my mom and dad and uncle. I give them to some of the guests that we have, and everyone who receives one is blown away. These are just a total different caliber. And when you think about the kind of money we're willing to spend on a phone, it's like, sure, you can pray a rosary on your fingers or on a string rosary, and it would work just the same, obviously. But if you're looking for a beautiful rosary that's more of also like an heirloom, something that you could have for life, check this out. Go to dailywire.com/shop and pick up one of these. This is more of the masculine one. This one they based on St. Peter's Basilica. So it has real stone beads and Italian olive wood. This one is inspired by Notre Dame in Lyon, France. So you might want to, again, pick this up. It'd be a beautiful ordination gift, a gift for those who are getting married, maybe Father's Day, Mother's Day. Like, honestly, a beautiful gift. I remember what moved me so much is when I sent this to I won't say who because I don't want to call them out, but a family member who doesn't actually pray the rosary. They started praying the rosary. And I think it's honestly because it's so beautiful and so sacred looking. So again, go to dailywire.com/shop to pick one up today. And thank you to Theotokos Rosaries for partnering with us. Did you have cold feet coming into Catholicism? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was terrified.
But you don't seem that way anymore.
No, now I'm kind of like, just kill me. Just martyr me. I'll just go to heaven. It'll be all right.
Your stand-up comedy special, you wouldn't call it that, would you? But your stand-up comedy routine that you did at Seek was objectively hilarious. And everyone I spoke to, there would have been like 10,000 people in that room, it seemed like.
It was a lot. I was told that it was like 6, maybe. It was a lot.
It was great.
I remember specifically being nervous. It was the first time I'd been nervous to perform for a long time. And they kind of just hand me the mic and I walk out and it's this, sea of people as far as I can see. I feel like I'm in the movie Dune, like walking out. There's just people, and I was like, whoa. And I remember thinking, okay, pretty cool. Just perform, whatever. It's a lot of people. And I look to my left, and in just this block of 200 plus nuns in one group, all looking at me. And I was like, this is the worst situation you could be in right now. And I remember distinctly thinking in my mind, while you're performing, do not look at the nuns. Because if you do a joke and you look over and you see 200 nuns sternly looking at you, you go, I would melt. I would just simply melt away and die.
But so it's basically your conversion story.
It is.
It was the opposite of Ricky. You know how Ricky Gervais uses comedy to preach his atheism? It's almost like that, but the opposite.
It's hilarious. You mentioned that because his special is what inspired me. I watched it, thought this is funny. I enjoyed this despite the fact that I'm a believer. How do I do the reverse?
Yeah.
And I prayed on it a long time because when I first converted, my very first thought was do comedy about this. Because as a comedian, you're doing authentic stories about the craziest things that are happening in your life. And it's the craziest thing that's ever happened to me by a long shot. By a long shot. So I was like, I got to do comedy about this. But some good spiritual advisors, some people were kind of like, easy. And then after a year of being Catholic, of being baptized and everything and feeling good and getting married, I was kind of like, should I do it? And then I was the one that was like, easy. And I prayed on it and I thought about it. And then after my Australia special came out, I hadn't written anything new and I really needed to start. And I was kind of like, what do I want to do? And I was praying. And I just, like a week before I was supposed to perform for the new tour, I was just convicted, like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm sending it. I'm just going for it. And I decided I was going to do my conversion story. So I wrote it up and now it's going well.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really funny.
Because you haven't recorded it yet.
No.
as a special.
I'll record it in the fall.
I think it'll be one of your best.
Thank you. I personally feel like it'll be my best when it's done. And it's so funny that I'm really flattered that everyone at Seek liked it so much because you guys saw a version that is so fresh and new. So it'll be real tightened up.
Yeah.
It'll be punchier and it'll be,
What's it been like? First of all, have you delivered that to a secular audience?
Yes.
And if you have, what has the reaction been to such a Catholic-centered
Yeah.
stand-up? And I guess the other question is, sorry, but do people think of you as a Christian comedian? So when they're showing up, do they know what yeah, okay.
So I do have people who show up because they're like, we like you, we know of you from being Catholic, but they never say you're a Catholic comedian, which is always that's good. That's kind of where I want to be. I want you to show up knowing this is a Catholic who has Catholic values. So whatever happens, I'm good to go. But also he is a comedian. So that both those things are true at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas being a Catholic comedian kind of implies that I'm going to do Catholicism at you, which I'm not necessarily doing. But yeah, it's gone well. I have had people get mad. I've had the first weekend I did it, people freaked out.
Tell me what that
means. Like a woman, firstly, I walked some people. Walking someone in comedy is when you do so badly that people just stand up and walk out of your show in the middle of it. But I was doing well. So when they walked, I figured bathroom or whatever. And then afterwards, the owner of the comedy club, who's a really cool guy, he came up to me and he was like, yeah, dude, it's crazy. I really it's so brave that you're doing that. Like you've had a couple walkouts. So people are mad that you're talking about Jesus or the gospel or whatever. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then after shows, I started to have people confront me and be like, I want my money back.
No, you haven't.
Yes.
Tell me how that conversation goes.
I want my money back. I can't believe you made me hear about Jesus. I don't pay to hear about this kind of stuff in public.
Yeah. I'm always impressed with people who confront people. I actually like that they did that to you.
The person
Because if it were me, I would have went to the owner of the club and went, what is this? I didn't come here for a sermon. But they went up to you.
Right.
And you have tattoos on your face.
The walkout people, they did what you said. They're very classy. Give me my money back.
Yeah.
This guy's talking about Jesus too much. This lady, who looks exactly like you imagine, just perfectly. She was pretty bold. She was like, I want my money back. And I had other people be like, I just want you to know I'm never going to listen to you again. And I think that this was stupid.
Yeah, I have that all the time too.
But
I'm sorry, but I also don't care.
Yeah.
I wish you well, but if you don't want to listen, I don't know you.
Yeah.
And so thank you for commenting and telling me that, but I don't care.
Right.
And not in a arrogant sort of way, but just if I knew you, then maybe I'd care.
Right.
But this is the first I'm hearing of your existence.
It's so funny too, because in the context where they're talking to me, they're really only giving me one way to react to them, which is the correct way. And I need to be aware of it. And I just go, well, I'm so sorry. I'll pray for you.
Oh.
Which is the worst thing you could say to an atheist who's mad at you. If you say, I want to pray for you, they say, don't. And you go, I'm going to anyway.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I'm praying for you right now. I'm praying for you right now.
Right now I'm praying for you.
I'm spinning a photorealistic version of you in my mind, and good things are happening to you, and God loves you. And I blew it up with a missile.
So when they say give us your money back, because presumably you don't have the ability, they're not paying you, they're paying
no
the club.
one's getting their money back.
So
absolutely not.
What do you say when they ask?
I say no. I just go, sorry, I don't have 20 on me. I don't know what you want
can go
from me.
talk to the Fradd or whoever.
Yeah, I'm not, you stayed. Also, for those of you who kind of are maybe a tiny bit lost, my stand-up right now, I have a full hour about my conversion, but it begins with a half an hour of my being an atheist. And that half an hour kind of rolls through my childhood and a couple funny little interesting stories. And then I use those to bridge the gap between talking about my stepfather and child abuse and and my mother and all of us having to deal with that horrible stuff. And so, but for the first 30 minutes, it's very light. on that. And so secular people I'm watching them have a great time. But the last half an hour where they see like, oh, all of this went bad, and then this is the arc his life is taking now, that's when they get mad. So it's so funny for them to be like, I'm mad I paid for this. And it's like, I saw you enjoy 30 minutes of it though. Like, I know you liked
you
it.
half back.
Yeah. You can have half. You can have half. How many jokes do you think you laughed at? Be honest. I'm like 50 cents. No, but it's so people have been mad. Like people
because
come up.
To be clear, it's not a preachy show. I don't want people who are watching this to think that you're up there preaching at people.
No,
you're not at all.
Truly, just a story about me.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why I've had tons of atheists too, and secular people also be very cool.
Yeah.
And be like, dude, that was just a really culturally enriching thing for me. Like, I think it's so neat to hear you talk authentically about your religion in a way that isn't weird for me.
Yeah,
that's a rare.
That's
a rare thing to get to experience, and that positive remark is like I love that. I think about that all the time.
So is this what you're giving when you go to a club these days?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm in the comedy club doing this hour everywhere I go. I did it. I've done it at a lot of places that I was like awkward to do it.
Oh, wonderful! I just went to the comedy club here, Zanies, last month.
One of the best in the country.
And John Christ got me in. I love John. He's terrific. And then at the end, they said we got a special guest, and it was Bargetzi got up.
Nice.
Why is he so... Was it you who told me about him or John? Someone told me about him a couple of months ago. I hadn't heard of him before because apparently I live under a rock. Why is he so funny?
He's so good. But he's incredible.
I think I know why, but do you have a read?
I think that he's funny because he is so authentic. Yeah, he's also friends with a lot of funny people. He's just a funny guy. I like him. I remember he is the type of clean that I want to be.
Yeah.
Where people are like, he's not clean. And you go, no, he is. And they go, what? And they have to think about it for a second. I love that.
Yeah.
Mulaney does that for being dirty. Where you go, Mulaney's not clean. And they go, yeah, he is. And you go, he says the F word. And they go, what? And they have to think about it. Mulaney's doing the reverse.
Interesting. I think he's so funny because the stories he tells, if you were to write them down on paper and go, is this a bit? You go, no, that is the most boring thing that's ever happened to anybody.
Right.
And somehow they end up being terrific.
Yeah, he's so good.
Understated. And yeah, we went and saw him live recently with the family. And I got seats right up front, and he's doing the circular stage these days.
Mm-hmm.
And, we probably would have enjoyed it more on Netflix. Or wherever he posts his comedy. I mean, we enjoyed it because it was cool to be part of this thing.
Yeah.
But I probably looked at his back for most of the time. I still loved it.
Yeah, the circle thing is weird. I'm not into that. I don't like
it. It looks good on camera, I think, because you're never seeing somebody's back.
Right.
But when you're there, over half the time I was just looking at his back. And it's a great back.
Did he film? Was it a film?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's true. It wasn't, but maybe he... I don't know. I would think if I was in his shoes, I would prep using the circular stage until I was ready to do it. It'd probably be weird to be on a stage and then film it for a circular stage.
Well, what's probably happening to him is what happens to me. He just gets booked and he shows up and the stage is the stage and you just want to make money. So you just go where your agent sends you.
I've heard him talk about intentionally moving to the circular stage.
Really?
Yeah. No, but he's also
I'm going to text him. Yeah. I need to know about this. That seems wrong. The circular stage?
Yeah.
What if it feels good, like the laughs kind of like blanket over you from every direction?
Yeah. Maybe.
I like a theater, like a smaller theater where the acoustics are good and the laughs kind of like roll over you.
Okay.
The timing is really good.
Spring is a good time for a reset, isn't it? If you've been meaning to tidy up the cluttered parts of your business, now's the moment. Getting your communication system in order is one of the simplest, most effective ways to make everything run smoother. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the smarter way to run your business communications. Quo's the top-rated business phone system on G2, trusted by over 90,000 businesses from solo operators to fast-growing teams, because it just works. It's built for the way people actually work today, flexible, simple, and reliable. You can use it anywhere on your phone, tablet, or computer without losing your number. Add new teammates or phone lines in minutes, hook it up to your CRM, and let Quo's smart routing make sure every call finds the right person. Your whole team can share one number for calls and text, so messages never get lost and customers don't slip through the cracks. Everyone sees the same conversation conversation thread, so replies are quicker and more personal. And Quo isn't just convenient, it's smart. Its built-in AI automatically logs calls, generates summaries, highlights next steps, and even picks up after hours, keeping your business responsive without anyone having to burn out. Everything, calls, messages, voicemails, transcripts, and contacts live in one clean view, so your team always has the full context. You communicate faster, stay aligned, and actually enjoy the process instead of wrestling with tech that slows you down. Make this the season where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/pints. That's quo.com/pints. Quo, no missed calls, no missed. We all have mobile phone service. It's time to support a phone company that supports us. Switch to our sponsor, Charity Mobile. They're different, they're proudly pro-life and impacting the culture of life in America. With Charity Mobile, there's no compromise on service, quality, or affordability. You get the same nationwide coverage as the major carriers with no contracts, and their customer service is staffed by pro-life Americans. Every month, they take a percentage of what you pay and send it directly to the pro-life, pro-family charity you choose. Over the last 30 years, that's added up to millions of dollars, making a real difference. And all plans start under $50 before taxes and fees. When it comes to phone service, Charity Mobile makes it easier than ever to buy the way you believe. New customers can use my code MattFradd to get a free phone with every new line, plus free activation and free shipping. So, it's pretty simple. Why not have your phone bill actually support what you believe in? Check out Charity Mobile and see for yourself. To get started, visit CharityMobile.com/MattFradd. That's CharityMobile.com/MattFradd and use my promo code MattFradd at checkout. What is a thing comedians think about in regards to the space that's so niche that only another comedian would go, yes, but everyone else is like, what? I have no idea why you would think that that's an important element of a...
The heights of the ceiling.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. The height of the ceiling, the what the room's made out of. A lot of comedians would go into a room, and if it's underground and made of brick, you're like, let's go, dude. This is a great room. The vibes too.
What is it? The energy? What is the...
You get good at going into a room and just kind of understanding how it feels in there. Mm-hmm. Do you know how there's that intuitive sense that a space is alive and you can feel the space? You know?
Yep.
As a comedian, I think you work that muscle so much that you kind of know how to mesh with the space as good as possible to get the result you want.
Interesting.
Because sometimes you're in a room that's not funny.
Yep.
It happens. If you do theaters, that happens all the time. John Mulaney has one of my favorite opening lines. He plays, what theater is it? In Chicago, maybe? Broadway? I don't know. It's beautiful, historic theater where people from all over the world have played. All these vintage artists have been there. It's this beautiful, really good thing. And he gets up there and he goes, this place is so much nicer than what I'm about to do.
That's excellent.
And then he references that the building is probably haunted. And it's just so perfect to
brilliant.
be this building is too nice. Also, it's scary in here. Everyone gets to go, oh, he knows.
Yeah.
And then you just do the thing.
That's nice.
And then you just do the thing, because sometimes, when I first started doing comedy, I would go up and audiences had never seen a guy like me before. And I started comedy 10 years ago. So it's also before a bunch of rappers were looking like me. And so I would go up there and I would have to be like, I also know how I look. And everyone would be like, oh, okay, good. And then we could be normal together.
That's good.
But I had to address
That
it.
reminds me of when Brian Regan stopped dyeing his hair. So you've always seen him with brown hair, and then one day he walks on stage with gray hair, and that's the very first thing he did. All right, well, let's address this, or else you'll be thinking about it for the entire show. That's really good.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you my favorite opening line to a stand-up routine, and then Maria can cut it out if it's too offensive.
Please.
All right?
Yeah.
Let me say the whole thing. Fella comes up on stage. He looks unsure of himself, a little awkward. Hi. I found my first grey pubic hair today. In a kebab, actually. And then he goes, can I speak to the old guy, please? He knows who he is. Do you think you could take him off kebab making duties?
That's a really good joke.
That was really
That's
good.
a good one. I like how English it was.
Yeah.
Or Australian.
Yeah, he was English.
Yeah.
It's probably you got to do something better than "thank you so much."
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is what a lot of comics do. They come out and just say "thank you so much."
Yeah.
Now I'm not funny or a comedian, but what I've been doing lately when I come out because of everything that blew up after I joined the Daily Wire and everyone got really upset.
Everyone's upset at you.
I'll come out and everyone claps and I go, "Thank you, man! You guys are so much nicer than Twitter." And everyone gets that joke.
Yeah. Every time I see you, you're like, I'm getting attacked. You're just always under attack. Like people are so mad at you all the time.
What's funny?
Is it exhausting or do you kind of tune it out?
Oh, it didn't bother me. It didn't. When I joined here, it didn't bother me because it was so loud. It's fun. I've said this before, but if two people are upset with me, you have this feeling that you can somehow make it better. But when you trend on Twitter, you're like, all right, well, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, what could
I know I've made
possibly
a
do to
decision
fix this?
that I prayed about that I didn't sell out on. Making more money isn't selling out on, right?
Yeah, what is selling out?
Selling out is when you compromise what you believe in for the sake of money.
Yeah. So,
and then no, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, what's funny though is I just wrote an article the other day. It was called "Why Ted Cruz is Wrong About Christian Zionism," and but what's funny is so you've got the Catholics who are furious with you. Not most aren't, but just loud.
Yeah.
Most are terrific, actually. But then you've also got everyone on Daily Wire who's like, "Why are there so many Catholics?"
Yes,
and they're furious,
dude. I had someone. There's like this trending thing. Someone was tagging me in videos saying I was a part of a Catholic conspiracy to take over media or something, and I was like, "We wish.
Yeah.
We're trying."
I know,
right?
I know you've heard organized religion and think we know how to do that.
Yeah. We don't. Dude. Yeah, it's so funny when people accuse. I'm always saying, be the Jesuit people think you are. You know, like they think you like control. Or you're insane. Yeah. Like the Jesuits control America and they secret organizations.
But
like
you probably get this though when you're in person. Like I was at Penn State a while back giving a talk, and it was good for me to get out. Because you realize that, people aren't trolls. Like when you're just online, you think everyone is a troll. Like everyone's saying something snarky and sardonic. Right. And you meet people like, I was waiting for everyone to be like that.
Yeah.
And everyone was so beautiful and pleasant and kind and gracious. I'm like waiting for the other foot to drop, you know? Hey, thank you so much. I'm like, yeah, what are you about to say?
Right.
And it never, I'm like, you're welcome.
Every meet and greet, I feel like that. Though, to be fair, every once in a while, I do get a real life person who is confrontational, you know? So, or I'll get like a random person on the street who knows me from my previous life, and they'll see me, and instead of being like, "Oh my gosh, Shayne, I used to watch your comedy," they'll like, you know, they'll swear at me or curse me or whatever, say something mean to me. And then just keep it moving, and I'm like, wow, I'm just absorbing a drive-by insult, I guess. Like, I'm just keep it moving, but
it's crazy that people are upset with you during your latest special, because some of what you talk about in the beginning is about the abuse. I don't want to disclose what you don't want to disclose, but the abuse you received as a child.
Yeah.
And then they still come up and get upset with
it's
you.
Insane.
I've had it.
It's insane to be like, thank you for sharing that very personal story about how you overcame torture. Anyway, you are the worst. You know, you're like, what? I didn't do anything. I'm not even, there was no call to action.
I think there's power in the name of Jesus Christ. And when it's uttered, something changes in the atmosphere. And
1,000,000%. It's the same. It's the reason that so many people are so comfortable being agnostic. And when you talk to them privately, you get the sense. I don't know if you've ever talked to a lot of agnostic people. I do quite a bit these days, and I always get the sense that they're very open to Jesus and like, yeah, Jesus is God for sure. Like he's the guy. I'm agnostic and Jesus is agnost. You know, like that's in their head. But then if you try to have like a more public conversation, they kind of no, I got to distance myself. So I can be religious in the way that is socially acceptable.
Spiritual, not religious.
Spiritual, not religious. But we are, again, Catholicism, we're having a moment. Christianity's having a moment, and Catholicism is kind of like we're in the front carrying the flag.
All right, well, let me ask you, why is it then that it seems like people are converting in droves to Orthodoxy and Catholicism in particular?
Yeah.
and are abandoning Protestantism. What is it that's taken place that's led to this? Because back in 2008, during the beginning or height of the new atheism craze, this seemed unthinkable.
Unthinkable.
So that's interesting. And then what's also interesting is you just have to be like live here long enough, like you and I have, to realize how things flip-flop, right?
Yeah.
So within 10 minutes from now, there's going to be a new atheist movement.
Yeah, possibly.
And I think that's why it's really important, because even right now it seems like a lot of apologists, people are like, we don't need your apologetics. We believe in Jesus. Like, but we desperately need very well thought out apologetics for when the next swing happens. That's my take. But why do you,
I'm with you there. John Wick style. Like, let's bury all the guns, cement, and then an apologist comes out when the new atheists show up, breaks them out and gets them.
Yeah, Jimmy's 89.
Yeah.
And he's taking everyone out.
Jimmy's Barrett 50 cal. He names the hammer of St. Michael, which is actually the name of my sniper rifle, but that's okay. I think that's a good point. I also think it is going to swing, but I also think the more I read about just history in general, there are times where the Overton window shifts and people kind of settle into cultural norms with religion for a couple 100 years or 100 years or 50 years. And then people sort of start to ask questions and get restless, and then they move, and so I think that there's a real world chance that as the Overton window shifts and everyone is sort of, we were all browbeat into being like, spirituality is not true. Ghosts aren't real. This and that. You don't feel an unseen love. It's all material. This is a material world we live in, and God isn't real. But like, even dumb people, and I say this with a lot of love on my heart, like even people who don't think about big questions, you intuit the spiritual realm. Like, you just intuit evil. You just know. Like, we all just know. And so we were all trying to convince ourselves, like, no, it's all material. It's all material. And then setting aside like that knowledge. And now that we've all kind of picked it back up and been like, get out of here. Yeah. I know what I know. Yeah. And now I'm going to figure out what I know via the Catholic Church, And so I feel like that moment could last for quite a while. I think we might be headed towards something great that lasts for maybe the rest of our adult lives if we're lucky.
I think that's true. But just like people jumped on the new atheist bandwagon to seem cool.
They did.
Then it's like there's obviously an equivalent here. So I've always said, and I'll continue to say, that it's like my life has to be more about my own repentance and the love of those around me than being sneering online.
Yeah.
Because Trent Horn was sitting where you are recently. We were having this discussion, and he said that the internet appeals to the 7 deadly sins. Like, you think of pride, lust, envy, anger, that's what sells on the internet.
Dude,
right?
Anger, lust, and pride.
So if you live on the internet as a Christian, you're not going to survive unless you somehow start justifying why it's okay to start using the F word against your opponents and things like that. And we see that already. And anyway, okay, so but my initial question was what is it, do you think, because you're really insightful into these matters, I think, about Orthodoxy and Catholicism and more apostolic kinds of Christianity? Like, what is it about that it seems like people are flocking to?
Every time I come on the show, since the first time I've told you about that little file on my phone, the Christ is King, I screenshot anytime someone tells me they converted or whatever, I screenshot it and I put it in that folder is huge now. That's beautiful. Like 500 plus.
Wow, what a cool idea.
Yeah. And so anytime I'm like, I never go in there and read them because I just don't like to like, oh, you help me. And I'm like, like I hate that. I can't. Like you said, it's very difficult to accept a compliment or whatever, but just to look and know it's there and be like, let's go. We're doing something real. Something is happening. Yeah. And a lot of the people who convert from Protestantism, a lot of what they tell me is that they, so many of them convert because of Protestantism's opposition to Catholicism. So what they kind of find is they're online and Catholics are calling out Protestants and Protestants are calling out Catholics. Okay. It's the internet. We're doing battle.
Yep.
Gavin Ortland versus Trent Orr.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. But then they go into real life And what they find in real life is that the Protestants are still, did you hear what the Catholics are doing? My preacher did a whole sermon about how Catholics are evil, and then they check out the Catholic Mass, and it's Jesus, 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 Jesus.
I see.
And they're kind of like,
I was told
interesting.
something.
Yeah.
I see.
And that is a very common story. Okay. So many people have told me they've converted from people being evil towards the church. So they're kind of like, it's that thing like when I first started to convert where I was like, oh, interesting that all the Satanists are in opposition to the Catholics and genuinely don't care what Baptists do. So if a person who literally is willing to like cut their nose off for magic thinks the Catholic Church has power.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Please tell me about that.
It's a real thing that happened.
Someone has cut their nose off?
Yeah.
You're saying yeah, like everybody knows this.
People self-mutilate for magic all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feel free to.
It's horrible.
That's awful.
There's,
God,
magic. A lot of people, magic is either powered by sex or violence.
Okay.
That's kind of the whole deal with it. And so, yeah, there are people who self-mutilate in order to make things happen, I guess is what you should say. But I know someone who cut off their nose, like surgically, like had it removed by like not a tattoo artist, but like a guy who's not qualified. Is what I want to say.
As opposed to the qualified.
Hey, you know have you ever seen those dudes who are like those freak weirdos with all the tattoos and they look like a lizard?
Yeah.
That's one step past me where I'm like, what are we doing here? But, so that he had that, like, he was like a lizard nose almost. But he did it for the purposes of black magic. No. This is just a person who wants power and has access to everything they want and doesn't care about their physical. They think it's cool.
If only we would be as committed to our fasting and praying,
right,
and self-discipline as this fella is for his black magic.
Well, there is a slight difference. As a person who practiced these evil things and now does the good things, it's so much easier to do the evil things.
Cut your nose off?
Yeah. One and done.
Explain to me. Would you mind telling me a bit about your history with this? Or
Yeah, we could talk about it. So I was involved, like, we talked about it briefly when we talked about my conversion.
Talking about
very small, or maybe it was but so...
I remember us talking about your conversion, the Blessed Mother.
Right.
Yeah.
We were kind of on the positivity stuff. So when I was an atheist and I was getting involved in leftist politics and things, Socialist Rifle Association, all these other things, I found a political group that was protesting, like, the Ten Commandments and courtrooms and prayer and all these other things in school, and it was the Temple of Satan. So they're like the fake Satanists. Mm-hmm. They're like the political activist Satanists, but they're run by a guy named Lucian Graves, who has like whited out eyes and looks. Anyway, he's a real Satanist. He's an actual for real Satanist that just says he's a fake Satanist that runs a political organization. Okay. Right?
How do you know he's a real Satanist?
Because he's doing real magic, and all the people around him are doing real magic, and they're doing actual Satanist stuff, Okay. And so, I got involved with these people. And then you think like, oh, it's just like a heavy metal cool thing. Like you guys have 666 tattoos and you listen to Metallica, and you're like, yeah, and all these hot goth girls are here and we're not going to let the Christians put the 10 Commandments in courtroom, separation of church and state. And the next thing you know, you're hanging out with real life witches doing tarot cards and in magic, and you're reading I'm not even going to say the book names, but you're reading these evil books and you're like, oh, I'm actually doing it. It would be the equivalent of saying like, yeah, I'm going to get involved in an organization to help a political organization. It's Catholic. I'm not Catholic, but I've been praying the rosary every day and I go to mass all the time. And like sometimes I cry when I'm in adoration and I pray a lot and it makes me feel good, but it's mostly just about the politics. You'd be like, you sound like you're doing Christianity, my guy. That's the reverse.
And is that how you slid into the magic stuff?
That's how I slid in, yeah. Through thinking it was political activism that was just trolling and very funny. And then it just turned out to be real. And of course, as I was having this moment where I was becoming more agnostic, I was open to the idea of magic or ritual or power. And so that kind of played into me believing in God and just being open to it.
How did you go from thinking this was just trolling to thinking you said it was real?
Well,
what happened with you that you were like?
So I began to do it, and it began to work. Like things I was doing it for were working in ways that were like
This
kind of incredible.
Feels more than a coincidence?
Yeah,
or even more than that.
Yeah, more than a coincidence. Okay. And then as I began to discern Christianity, and my grandfather passed away, and this is like a deeper level to the story that isn't usually told just because it's so intense and kind of derails from the fact that Christ saved me. You know, people get really fixated if you're like, I did sex magic. I did black magic for a little bit. People are like, enough about Jesus. Tell me about the occult. Because it's just so fascinating to us, right? But anyway, I was doing that, and when I began to discern going to church and all this other stuff, I did have really wild experiences with like fear and sort of like negative spirits. One example is I like distinctly remember I was in my apartment and I was in the bathroom, and it was kind of like the evening, and I was by myself in my apartment, and I had just used the bathroom, and I stood up, and I just got this like overwhelming dread feeling that there was someone or something on the other side of the door waiting for me to open it. And have you ever had like that spooky turn off the light and run to your bed feeling? But like that real adult spiritual warfare version where you actually stop and you like say a prayer, you say Jesus' name out loud, like, I know that something evil is near me right now. I didn't know it at the time, but that's how I felt. It was just so terrifying. Just small experiences like that kind of made me go, maybe I'm messing around with evil.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm like inviting something into my life. And truly thank God for my mom too, who was, even as not a super religious person and a person who was kind of letting me find my way, when I was doing weird stuff like that, she was always like, don't mess with that stuff, never touch a Ouija, don't do anything to do with magic or the devil or anything like that. And so she always kind of like kept me, what I would say, like vigilant, just paying attention a little bit, like, well, she seems to think this is real, so maybe I'll just watch out. But yeah, I mean, it was a terrifying, dark, embarrassing. I would say it's more embarrassing than anything for me now. But yeah, it was a weird time in my life. And I was involved in a bunch of stuff that's like really dark. And of course, the way God works is so incredible because now I look back at that and it strengthens my faith, you know? Yeah. But at the time, I was up to stupid, embarrassing, disgusting things.
Yeah, no, I see your point about when you start bringing in things like topics that appeal to people's lower passions. Like
right.
You use the word sex magic. I will never ask you what that means.
100%.
But I feel like I can ask you about why someone would cut their nose off and no one would be like,
100%.
I need to do that. So what is...
Yeah.
So this guy, tell me about why someone would cut their nose off for magic and what the point is there.
It's about sacrifice. It's about giving up something to get something else. And so that's like the whole concept behind all of it, really. Is giving something to get something else. It's a mockery of the sacrifice to God.
Yeah.
So
offer bread and wine.
It's all a mockery. So it's all like the reverse, you know. Yeah. It's the same like the witching hour is 333. It's a mockery of the Trinity. All these things. And so, yeah, so much of it. It is funny too to now be Catholic and look back. In like as you grow in your Catholicness, at least as an adult convert, you're in the Mass and you go, oh, that line from the Mass is in the Bible. Oh, this line from this is over here. Like you're reading the New Testament for the first time and you're like, they say that in Mass. Cool. You know, you're like reading it and you're kind of deepening like, oh, it's all Catholicism. And then that is kind of my looking back at evil, like black magic. I'm like, oh, it's all, you're just doing reverse Catholicism. Yeah. You guys are obsessed with us, you sick freaks, you know, like.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it's all a reversal of everything we do.
Yeah, and I understand, you know, there's a lot of shows, like I think one of my most popular shows was with an exorcist. It's had a few million, 3 million views or something like that. So I understand that there is a desire to talk about this stuff and put up this content because it does well. And I also understand the argument that well, people shouldn't be attracted to these things. It's not so healthy. I get that. I think that's
Yeah.
right. But I also think, just like what you said about how your former life strengthens your current faith, it can also be the case that hearing about the reality of some of these darker issues can help someone go, oh gosh, I better wake up and pay attention.
Right.
I better start praying the St. Michael prayer because this isn't a joke, you know?
People are, I find like the people who are the most into horror movies are the most afraid, right? You want to keep it close to you so you can control it. So like you have this deep-seated real fear of this thing. And so you kind of like keep it close to you and make it into art or sort of as an interest or whatever. And that's like why women love true crime so much.
Thank you. Would you explain this to me? Because
Because
I've noticed this for years, well, months,
Women-
but I don't know why it's women.
Women adore true crime, and I just think that it's because it's a reality for them. As a man, I don't walk around thinking I'm going to get snatched up and murdered. When I hear about Ted Bundy, I think about what a crazy guy he is compared to me. As a woman, when you hear about Ted Bundy, you think, would he have got me? That we're just having a totally different experience interfacing with the information. Like women are a different character in that story. So they live in a much scarier world.
So I think that I don't think any genre is so filled with trash as horror. Let me begin by stating that.
Yes.
I also don't think that horror is intrinsically evil. And I think one of the reasons it's good to read scary fairy tales to your children, like Hansel and Gretel, which might be one of the most terrifying horror stories ever written.
Really gnarly.
Is because it teaches children, I don't know if teaches is the right word, but like we live in a scary world and you will face a witch who wants to eat children.
Yes.
You will face it. And so if for that sense, I think it's like our way of kind of sort of how you see animals play fight. It's like their way of like, I'm going to have to be ready for this one day.
Yeah.
I feel like because we're intellectual creatures, we do that on an intellectual way. And that's often called horror, maybe true crime. So do you think that one of the reasons women like true crime is to try to like explore that fearful possibility and be prepared for it if it should ever eventuate?
We prepare for death differently than women. We have a different relationship with it. We fantasize about it. I never met a guy in my life that doesn't have a last stand fantasy that isn't like, yeah, I'll be the last guy. You know what I mean? Like our relationship with death, like even the most cowardly guy probably romanticizes dying with a sword in his hand. We naturally are like, give it to me. I'm not afraid. I want it.
Yeah.
We yearn for danger.
I'm afraid that I'll be afraid, but I'd like not to be.
Yes. As a man, you want to conquer that. You want to bring it close. That's why we love danger. We love like we want it. I want to go fast. I want to be high up. I want to fight. I want, like I need conflict because I want to be close to it. Women aren't close to death in that way. They're close in a different way. And so the way they express themselves, this is my personal theory, is by being close to these things, holding these stories close and learning from them. And I also feel like it probably is almost like a preparation thing. Like the same way like I'm watching like YouTube videos about how to make a deadfall trap that I'll never need in case I'm lost in the woods. And women are like, all right, so if a guy shows up and asks me, like
shows me all of his board games in his closet.
Yeah. Escape the house immediately. Alarm. So that's so funny. What if that was her thing? She was like, it's not that he was a dork. I just thought I thought he was a killer.
Yeah, right.
Who has that many World War II games?
Did I tell you how many there were? There was an inordinate amount. That's my American accent.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, so fair enough.
Yeah, I just think women are closer to it. And then just the same way Memento Mori is so fascinating. Yeah. I love Memento Mori. Like I love goth stuff. Like me and my wife, when we move, we're making like a little kneeler thing with a prayer station. And of course it's like it's going to be like super heavy metal and goth looking and awesome. Very Memento Mori. But like we want to be close to death. We want to feel close to these macabre things or scary things.
Yeah.
There's just something about it.
Think about the outside of traditional churches with their the macabre-looking statues on the outsides,
right?
With the demon-looking things.
Gargoyles.
Gargoyles. That's what I was reaching for. Yeah. So anyway, that's really interesting. I think I don't know. So you said going back to my question about why are Protestants becoming Catholic, and you said what often happens is people will complain about Catholicism, and then the individual experiences Catholicism and doesn't find it to be the caricature.
Yes.
Right. And I don't think those Protestants are wrong, by the way. Well, I think they're wrong to accuse Catholicism of bad things. I wouldn't call them anti-Catholic. Here's why. I think if Catholicism is false, like, you are right to point that out. And so I think it's important to distinguish between somebody who's pointing out what they believe to be wrong about a religion and then to say they're anti-Catholic. I think those are different things. I'm not sure where I would draw that line.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a lot of people complain about Mormonism. And it's not like, well, for that reason, people are flooding into Mormonism. And
True. There's a mystique. There's something going on with the Catholic Church. I also think that...
Because one more thought. It's always been the case, or at least it has been for the last 50 years perhaps, that people have complained about Catholicism in regards to what she teaches about sexuality and things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people were in floods encountering Catholics and going, it's not like that, and then joining Catholicism.
Right. I think that there's the situation has two more variables. I'm going to lose these in my head, but we're going to try. So the first variable being, so they get that experience, and then that experience is also, they're hearing a lot of old stereotypes about Catholics that every Protestant in America is mad about. Those stereotypes are patently false. So when they go, they're all worshiping Mary, and then you look into it, you go, that seems reasonable. I don't think they're worshiping her at all, And now that like you could just go on Chat GPT or whatever and be like, what do Catholics believe? And then it's like, this is literally the Catechism.
Yeah.
And they read it and they go, oh, okay. Well, so you lied to me about this? And then their pastor maybe doubles down. Maybe that sends you to the church. Maybe he doesn't. And now you're open to,
Yeah.
So you can't lie about us because you're just going to send people to us because we're not afraid to give the info.
So maybe you've got like sorry, you said two pillars. I didn't mean to
Two
interrupt you.
pillars.
That was the first. Do you remember?
You continue your thought. I'm going to try and remember what the second pillar was.
Well, I just think that you've either got Protestants who are like, Catholics aren't Christian.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, it seems like this growing softening towards Catholicism, where you'll hear pastors say something like, no, I'm not saying they're not Christians. I'm not saying they can't be saved. And, they were the first Christians and they gave us the Bible anyway. And so we appreciate that. And you're like, okay, well, hang on. Can I just join them then? Because they seem really cool.
Yeah.
No, don't. Well, if you want to join them, I guess you could and still be a Christian.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people say that James White has led them to Catholicism.
I've heard that.
A lot of people say that to me.
I've not had anyone say it directly to me. The other situation, there's so much information readily available.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, you could just Google it. Like truthfully, you could Chat GPT, whatever, Catholic Answers, it's all there. Pints. I mean, you could just look it up. And it used to be that you couldn't. The information wasn't there. And so the Catholic Church, to our great credit, one of the very few like, hey, we've been nailing this, not even close to doing bad the whole time, is at every point we're like, this is the info, come at us. Come at us. Whereas when I was learning about Protestantism as a kid and learning about Jesus for the first time, there were a lot of questions that were like, we don't know. Or we just do it this way. Don't worry about it. Where did the Bible come from? Don't worry about it. Why can't, what's the teaching on being gay or contraception or this or that? And a lot of the Protestants I spoke to as a kid were just kind of like, it's just important to have a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
That turned me off as a kid where I was just like, oh, okay. So there's like no rules. You just do this. What? So what are you doing? And like, if you don't understand, you're just kind of like, well, you seem wishy-washy. I'm out. So I'll just be a good person then. I guess I don't have to worry about it. Almost what you're saying about the like, well, if someone goes, well, you don't have to be religious. As long as you're good, you'll go to heaven. And you go, okay, I'll just do that.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks. I'll be over here being nothing.
Yeah.
So...
starting something new is, well, at least can be terrifying. I remember when I launched this show 10 years ago now, I had almost no clue what I was doing. I kept thinking, what if nobody listens? Or what if I make a fool of myself? Which, whatever, I've done a few times. Starting something new, like a podcast or business online, can sound a bit overwhelming. Like you need a degree in web design, marketing, maybe wizardry. But that's where our sponsor Shopify comes in. It's the platform trusted by millions of businesses, big names, and folks just getting started to bring their ideas to life. Shopify even powers our own Daily Wire shop and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And what I love is how simple it makes everything. You can design a beautiful online store with ready-made templates that actually reflect your brand, and then let Shopify's AI tools do the heavy lifting, whether that's writing your product descriptions, improving your photos, and even punching up your headlines. And when it comes to getting your name out there, Shopify's got built-in tools for email and social media campaigns that make it feel like you've suddenly hired a marketing team. Plus, that little purple Shop Pay button, it's not just pretty, it's the highest converting checkout on the planet. Fewer abandoned carts, more happy customers. It's time to turn those what-ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/pints. Go to shopify.com/pints. That's shopify.com/pints. So I love coffee. Look at me. I'm using the word love. I love coffee, and we've tried a lot of coffee over the years. But our sponsor today is 7 Weeks Coffee, and it's the one that my wife and I have landed on. Honestly, if you open up the cabinets above our espresso machine, it's just stuffed with 7 Week Coffee espresso. And it's not just great coffee. It's a brand built around values that we take seriously. 7 Weeks Coffee is America's pro-life coffee company on a mission to fund the pro-life movement, one cup of coffee at a time. Now, you might be thinking, why are they called 7 Weeks Coffee, Matt? Good question. Because at 7 weeks, a baby is the size of a coffee bean. And at the same time, a heartbeat is clearly detected on an ultrasound. They've built their business around saving lives by donating 10% of every sale to pregnancy centers and pro-life organizations nationwide. They've now raised over $1.5 million and saved thousands of lives. Now, let's talk about the coffee because I care about what I'm fueling my body with, okay? It's mold-free, pesticide-free, shade-grown, and low-acid, and it's organically farmed. It truly checks all the boxes. Now, when I first heard about 7 Weeks Coffee, I thought, okay, I'm open to trying it, but I'm not going to keep buying coffee just because it has a great cause if the coffee's not excellent. Hand to my heart, it is actually excellent, and we really love it in the Fradd household. So go to 7weekscoffee.com and save 15% forever when you subscribe. Plus, get a free gift with your order. And exclusively for my listeners, use code PINTS for an extra 10% off your first order. That's a 25% total savings on your first order, plus a free gift. Just use code PINTS at checkout. I also think we live in an ugly time, and many of us feel cultureless and are embarrassed about the fact that we have no culture.
Yeah.
There's this
So
desperate
real.
desire to attach myself to the Irish or the English or the French or wherever I may have come from, right? To have things passed down to me that we kind of cut off. It was like,
did.
no, screw that. Screw the man, screw the system. Like, I am free. And then we're like, now there's no soil and I'm shriveling up. And so I think that's another reason why people look at Orthodoxy and Catholicism and go, okay, this is an old, beautiful story. I want to plant myself in that garden. I don't want to plant, and I'm not accusing all Protestants of this, because there are obviously, you can go to some Anglican churches that might look more beautiful and be objectively more beautiful and traditional in one sense, than your local parish. Like, that's possible.
And to be clear, one of my most spiritual moments I've ever felt in my life was just in a hotel room. So
Yeah.
you don't need so even to that credit, I think there are Protestants in the thing that as Catholics, where we're like in your warehouse with your fog machines and we're like being rude.
Right.
But in a warehouse with a fog machine,
Kinda cool.
you can encounter the Lord in a way that would affect your life and be beautiful and real and good
that's
and whole.
exactly right.
And it's so important to acknowledge that too, as much as I tend to fall into the trap of being like
That's really helpful to say that.
if you had a beautiful cathedral with hand paintings like me, but like, no, actually, I've encountered the Lord on a run and began to weep uncontrollably and had grown spiritually so like, they're totally and completely capable.
Yeah, I think a good strategy for Catholics at this point in history is to say to our Protestant friends, is to say yes, and there's more. So we're with you 100%, and we can even learn from you in this regard. What you're saying, beautiful. There's more here, as opposed to making fun of people. As much as the internet wants us to do that.
Yeah, I have an ecumenical heart, and sometimes I find that Catholics on the internet are like, you're being too sweet, nice, or whatever, and I'm like, no, I'm not actually.
Didn't they call that the cage stage? Have you heard that? The cage stage of a conversion. I don't even know what that means.
The cage stage.
I don't, honestly, I wish I had my phone. I would look up what cage stage means.
Just imagining Bonesaw from the Spider-Man movie.
Here's the
I got
point.
you in here for 3 minutes, brother, in the cage.
What I'm talking about, though, I guess, is just like the off the charts levels of enthusiasm that one experiences after converting. And they get sarcastic and angry and like belligerent, and then that all kind of sometimes calms down.
Yeah.
I've had people on my show who've reached out to me and went, dude, I wish I could come on your show now instead of a year or two ago. It would have been so different. He's like, I just came in, I was...
Yeah. That's good, though. I think it's good. It's so funny. Now I'm like thinking back, like, did I do that? I know for sure I felt it. When you're first converting, it's like crazy.
Yeah, but I'm going to say something that might sound strange, because obviously you're a very manly guy, but you also have a beautiful, sensitive heart. Like, you're open to other people and their pain and their experiences, and that's one of the most attractive things about you, and it's probably why you're so good as a stand-up. So I don't think you would naturally be a sort of condescending triumphalist.
No, I can be, though. I can be so mean. That I'm like very capable.
Yeah.
I know, unfortunately, I'm mean to my wife sometimes, which is the person you would be mean to because you live together and you're married.
Yeah, but I've met your wife and she's super sweet.
Oh, dude.
I once had my friend Father Jason. I was like upset with Cameron, my wife, about something. He's like, okay, well, you better go in there and be kind to her because she's amazing. And if she tells me you're not, I'm going to kick your ass.
That's so good.
That's the kind of friend you want.
Yeah, that's the kind of friend you want. That's so good. I know. I had a priest friend of mine. I made confession with him, and which is always awkward. Do you confess? Are your confessors your friends sometimes?
Sometimes I feel like I've committed a grave sin, and I'll go to whoever will take me. And so sometimes, yeah, that does involve people I know.
Yeah. And he told me to shut the F up and in the middle of it. And I don't know that he knew it was me necessarily, because I was just in the thing. Okay. And he was like, listen to me. I can tell. And he said exactly what I needed to. It was so good. But he was like, it's your job to protect your wife and be there for her. And like really fired me up. I like left the room being like, dude, I'm going to go be the best husband I've ever been. That's nice. It's good.
I once went to confession, and my wife has been for years now, dealt with a lot of autoimmune, debilitating things. And depending on the day, you can't tell. Like, sometimes she looks great, but often she's sick. And I was complaining. I went to confession to confess that I wasn't patient with her, and that this has been really wearing me down. And
this is a confession I'm familiar with.
Well, you say something similar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my priest said to me, well, look, you said in good times and bad and sickness and health. Well, and then he said this, guess what, buddy? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I love this.
Yeah,
now it's bad and now it's sick. And what are you going to do? I'm like, thank gosh, this is what I needed.
Yeah.
Really needed.
It is important sometimes. This takes me to the third reason the church is growing so much right now, because we as people, especially as like, well, I was going to say American. You are an American, but as an American...
Technically. I wouldn't say I am American. I'm an Australian who has American citizenship.
Well, Australians are upside down Americans.
Okay.
You guys have the heart of Americans. You're the only other Anglo culture with cowboys. And, well, no, Spanish people are cowboys too.
We were like, please dominate us with your COVID rhetoric. So I don't know if you want to...
Yeah, you guys fell off a little bit.
That's okay. But get back on.
But you can get back on. You still have some of the best surfers. Your guys are great. I love Australians. But in any case, I do feel like you guys have the spirit of Americans. I actually feel like Mexico, Australia, Spain, and America are like weirdly together in like this, maybe even Japan too. They all have the spirit of a cowboy in them.
Okay.
Anyway, this is a theory. Mongolians also are cowboys. So I've pointed the camera. Mongolians are cowboys too. Anyway, these are all personal theories Shayne has. This is like me talking to my brothers, being like, "No, Mongolians are cowboys." Like, but the third reason, people want to be asked of. People want to be asked of, and Protestantism, for every beautiful thing it's done and all the great things it's doing and all the wonderful people in it, it has kind of stopped asking people to do difficult things. And whereas the church never stopped, like, and to our detriment at times, but right now, like, you know, Protestants, they don't have a lot of solid teachings on IVF or adoption or even gay marriage in some cases, or what traditional marriage is, or this or that or whatever, you know, or even like the promiscuity. Their teaching on promiscuity is kind of like, well, just try. You know, whereas the church is like, if you get married, it's forever. We're not going to let you get divorced, you know? And you're like,
also, you can't touch yourself.
Also,
you're welcome.
Dude, the amount, every time I get hired by a Protestant church and I go perform for them, firstly, they're amazing and I love them. And if you're listening to this and you're one of the people who have had me out to your community, dude, I've had like some like really beautiful experiences where I'm like, dang, this is great. But they like, I lost my train of thought because I'm thinking about the last guy.
Touch yourself.
Oh yeah, they'll be like, is that real? Do you really, like, you guys don't masturbate? And
the Protestants ask this.
Never. And they're like, what? And I'm like, it's cheating on my wife. And they'll be like, really?
Hang on. You're saying, now, to be very clear, not all Protestants think this.
No.
But you're saying Protestants have said this?
I've had several groups of evangelicals who I've been close to and spent time with that I respect and love and think so many wonderful things. They don't look at the teachings that way. They're like, really? They're like kind of like secular people, like, how do you not do it though? And I'm like, well, you just don't. You just kind of stop and you pray about it. And then the more you stop, the more you stop. And that's kind of how that works. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's adultery to look at pornography. And they're like, really? Yes. You know, like, it's kind of wild. So I think that, you know, young people especially are like, okay, you guys want me to do something difficult.
Yeah.
And then the way we interact with the difficultness also helps, because a lot of people have an idea about how Christian morality exists that they got from a very bad Protestant education. I don't think that's Protestantism's fault. I think that's secular America's fault, because we sort of Hollywoodized what people think Christianity is. So for instance, when I converted, I began to live my life, I wasn't doing, I'm still not perfect. Obviously, I'll never be perfect, but I was sinning, or I would mess up or do things. And then people would be like, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Oh, look at this Christian over here. Definitely not doing what he's supposed to do. And you're kind of like, hold on a second. I thought you also hate Catholic guilt. Oh. So do you think I'm a Christian hypocrite, or are you against Catholic guilt? Because if I sin and I'm not guilty about it because I know I'm saved and I'm just trying to be as good as I can be, shouldn't you support that? But if I'm guilty about it, you also think that's an evil thing the church is making me do. So which one do you want me to do? Do you want me to be the Christian who sins and is secure and doesn't crash out over it and doesn't feel guilty and just continues? Or do you want me to mire myself in guilt? And they don't have an answer.
That is fascinating.
It turns out that they just don't like you because you're Christian. But the way they view morality and Christian morality is this zero-sum game, where like either you're guilty over your sins and the church is evil for making you feel guilty and Catholic guilt is disgusting. People aren't inherently bad. Or you're a Christian who makes mistakes and does bad things or has a scandal or whatever, and everyone comes out, Christian hypocrites. Here are the Christians doing all the sinning, doing everything they say they don't do. And it's like, do you want me to feel guilty or not? I'm a person just like you.
Yeah.
You know, any moral, what is the saying? Not quantity. Any moral standard makes a hypocrite of a man. Yeah. So if your moral standard doesn't make you a hypocrite often, really bad news about your moral standard.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wanted to ask you, because you've been married, what, a year, 2?
Yeah, a year.
Have you realized your wife isn't God yet? It took me a while.
I knew pretty quick. She let me know. I was like, would God punch me in the back of the head while I was trying? No. Okay. But
In a way, I think, you know, when you're young, and this isn't, you know, you and I are roughly the same age, I think. But I think when you're very young, you cannot know that your wife or husband won't fulfill all your expectations and all of your deepest longings. You know it theoretically, and could talk about it eloquently, but you don't actually know it.
Yeah, you have to like
You
experience
have to
it.
like realize that you don't know. And one of the ways you begin to realize that you didn't know it to begin with is when you start realizing that you're frustrated at her or him for not actually meeting the things you thought they were supposed to meet,
Yeah.
and that they weren't just another broken sinner like you, who your role was to lead them to heaven, not to satisfy your every desire. Anyway, how's that going?
It's going.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky in that I converted late in life and I got married late in life. So I'm sort of like, in my late 30s, like very aware. I remember having a very distinct moment in maybe I was late 20s, early 30s, and I visited a friend of mine who's been married since he was a teenager. And him and his wife, they're great. They're beautiful. They've been married for like 20 something years. I came over to his house. We were going to go ride motorcycles or something. He was having an argument that at the time I thought was like, oh, so kill each other, I guess. Or like marriage over. Like I was genuine. I had a real anxiety hearing them talk to each other.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you know what? I'm probably sorry about it. He said something to her, like a kind of an apology almost. And then he was like, we'll just talk when I'm back. It's all going to be okay. And she was like, yeah, it's going to be fine. And then like we went to the garage and we're getting ready to go. And I was like, dang, dude, like getting ready to have this really heavy, like, I'm so sorry that's happening. And he's like, it's all good. I love her. I'll never leave her. Like he just said something like, I've been married for 19 years. It's fine. And like it didn't affect his mental health at all. He was perfectly fine. And when we came back, him and his wife really were like, yeah, we'll figure it out. And they were like normal to each other. But I remember thinking at the time, like, this is a world destroying argument. You're clearly so genuinely for real angry at your wife. Yeah. It gave me like fear in my heart. And then he was like, oh yeah, we're married. It's fine. And like, he just, the confidence with which he was married, like blew my mind. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is what marriage is. And I remember thinking at the time, like, oh, I don't know if I'm capable of that. I think I would just want to curl up into a ball and cry. I wouldn't be able to ride motorcycles with my friend, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But he was so secure in his marriage and the fact that his wife loved him, that even though they were having this like intense conflict, he was just so sure that he was going to come back and be able to solve it and stay married and be fine. Mm-hmm. That didn't, at the time, I was just like, whoa. And now I'm finally like in that zone where I'm like, you couldn't get rid of me if you wanted to. I'm still married to you. It's unreal, you know?
It's sort of like how we can speak very freely with our family, like our brothers or sisters, but we can also take advantage of that familiarity. And so I think I'm of the opinion that like you want to fight, but it depends on what you mean by fight, and you want to fight fair.
To be clear, the story isn't about him being mean to it, or him and his wife being mean and me being like, oh, interesting. It's about like how anxiety inducing that intense of an argument would be as a person who isn't married. Yeah. And then you realize when you're married, like if you're in that intense situation, you ultimately know, like, I love my wife. It's going to be fine.
I don't mean to psychoanalyze you.
Please.
For me, my parents stayed together.
Yeah.
And my wife's parents are still together, and I saw them fighting, my parents occasionally, and whenever they did, and I remember this one time my dad was so pissed off with my mom. We were going somewhere and he slammed the door, and I was so angry with him for being angry at my mom. I was probably 13 or 14.
Yeah.
But then I remember that night, like they sat us down and told us that they'd made up, and it was like really beautiful. So I got a beautiful experience of that.
Interesting. That's so good.
But I would think that if I was, and I know you have a stepdad, but I don't know your situation. But I would think that if I grew up in a family where an argument led to a divorce, and then everyone I know once, like that's just part of life, you get divorced, then I would get really anxious about those interactions. Is that partly why you felt that way?
You know what? I'm very lucky that my biological father was married to a woman for like 20 something years before he passed away. So that his marriage to her really, really, really motivated me. Like they had like a beautiful marriage. Every time I would visit their family, they would be very kind to each other. So I got to see like what a good marriage looks like. So I'm like wildly fortunate in that way. Yeah. And also, I grew up in Utah around Mormons, and a lot of those people are really beautifully married. So kind to each other, so good to their kids, so aware. They talk to them like adult, like they talk normally. They have like really good family dynamics. So I got a lot of really cool things to see. Also, to my mom's credit, as bad as and untraditional as things were, my mom was always like very clear, like, this isn't normal. And then she would be like, should be different. You're like, and so, yeah, she was great too. So I guess I didn't grow up with that anxiety. I did.
But it is weird when you walk into an argument, especially if you don't know the dynamics of the two arguing. Like my wife and I are pretty, we express ourselves. And so I think people have probably seen us get into an argument where they thought the world was ending and we were like, oh, we didn't even know we were arguing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither of us felt our cortisol levels spike here. This is just
Chilling.
how we talk. Yeah. I remember getting into an argument with my wife once, and it was about 15 years into our marriage probably. And I remember having this terrifying realization that this thing is not unbreakable.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought when
That
you go,
is.
oh, I can't take her for granted. I can't take this for granted. I could destroy this.
Yeah.
That scared the hell out of me.
It scares me too. I've been thinking that a lot about so many things. Just even like in terms of me being like a comedian who is Catholic. So I'm not even like a Catholic influencer. But then there's that like nightmare fear of somehow like becoming embroiled in a scandal that makes my religion or family look bad. There's that pressure, that weird like, so that like dread pressure. It's not real. Me and my wife are fine. But then that knowledge, just that like I'm a man and I can destroy.
Yeah.
I'm so capable of destroying everything I can lay my eyes on.
Yes.
And knowing that you have that, is power the right word? Capability? It is some kind of power, but knowing that it's in us and that it's like, it would take hours.
Well,
We could ruin our lives in hours.
Well, yeah, and every man who's destroyed his marriage has been a man who probably at one point didn't think that imaginable.
Right. That's the thing that scares me the most. I imagine someone sort of sitting down and their wife leaves the room and they're alone and they realize it's ending and then they kind of go, what happened? Or they're kind of like, if I had made that one different decision. Have you ever been like in an argument with your wife and you think of something to say and you don't say it? Mm-hmm. And then like a week later, you literally are like, thank God. Thank God I didn't just let my lips do the mean thing my brain thought of or whatever. And you're like, at the time in that moment, it felt like it was such a good idea or like it was justice. Some kind of like justice or deserved act or whatever. And then given time, you're like, I'm so glad I wasn't rude or whatever. And then I stop and think, how many more times would I be glad I wasn't rude if I held my tongue? Yeah. That thought with your wife especially, it's like kind of heartbreaking sometimes.
Yeah.
I've been journaling a lot.
Yeah.
It's been so good for me.
Yeah.
Incredible. I have like a journal and a prayer journal. So I have a journal where I write to God and a journal where I just kind of like document what's going on. Mm-hmm. The writing to God is like crazy. I highly recommend to everybody.
Yeah.
It's just it's prayer in your journal, but when you're writing it out and to go and read it back is kind of nice. My father died and I was like, oh,
recently?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. My father passed away and I was like, man, I would love to have his writings or musings or like video. And then I realized like, I have kids. I'm going to die. I bet they want to read my thoughts and whatever. So I've been like taking these journals, but they've been helping me be so self-reflective.
But how do you see? I wouldn't think it would be good for me to think that someday someone would read this. I would hold back on being
really
brutally honest.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I say things that I'm like, I hope no one reads it now, but when I'm gone, I hope they have this insight into like what a truly real person I was. Okay. When I say real, I mean like complete and whole. Your kids might not see you be the most vulnerable. Your wife will see you.
Yep.
Just because you maintain that like, I'm your dad, I'm always going to be here for you kind of thing. That I remember I had this weird moment. I'm a crier. I cry quite a bit. Just not like randomly or when I'm hurt, but like I'll read an emotional thing. A commercial will get me. I'm that kind of guy. And we had like a family emergency and my daughter was with me and I normally would have cried upon getting the information I got. And I thought to myself, don't cry. Be like be the rock for your daughter. And she cried and I held her. And then we had this like really nice afternoon together, and I was really sweet to her and it was really good. And she was so happy afterwards. And I thought to myself, I was like, am I making the wrong move by like not crying in front of her? Because she needs to see men cry and stuff. But then I was like, my instinct is I didn't have to like suck them back in or something, but there was this weird thing in my brain that clicked was like, you are her dad. You are infinitely strong compared to her. Give her the rock. Yeah. You are the rock. And in that moment, I just thought, I don't want to cry. I just don't want to. And I was like, what a weird mindset shift for me. I never in a million years expected to feel that way. And now I'm like, oh, okay. So I have a different relationship with my emotions and how I'm expressing myself, especially because, you know, you realize like I am a thing to these people, you know, the moment I realized like, oh, okay, I got to get my wife to heaven wasn't when we first got married, unfortunately. As much as they hammer that home, you have to live it for a little while.
This is what I mean about you could have spoken eloquently on your wedding day about, yeah, no, I know, and here's why. Right. You could have given an inspirational talk that would have caused other men to believe what you did not yet believe.
Right.
And then you believed it how? What happened?
I don't know. I did experience. Yeah. Just being with my wife and like my being lazy translated into her being lazy, or my mistake translated into her mistake, or my sin affected her, or my not going to confession means she didn't go. And then I'm sort of imagining, oh, okay, hold up. That's my fault. Like I need to get her to heaven. And by getting her to heaven, I'm going to get myself to heaven. And you're like, oh, okay, being of service is how I'm going to do all the important things I need to do. It's like the Ordo Amoris, you know? You're like, okay, so if I honor God, then I'll honor my wife by default, you know? But that realization, like, as you're living your married life.
No, it's so easy, right? Because I think if we just realize that I am here for my wife, I am here to love her well, so that, like, if I'm not with her, her day won't be as good necessarily. If I'm with her, then it's like, I'm going to make her day better by loving her, right? It's like, it's just that mindset shift. We just accidentally switch lanes into consumption. Like, you're here to make my life better and you're not. Therefore, this isn't working. As opposed to, I am here to lay down my life for you.
Yeah.
That's the only way marriage can work. It can't work in the consumption way because there's not enough in her and there's not enough in him.
No, never. Yeah, that's so.
But then there's also things can get awkward too when you feel taken advantage of legitimately. Anyway,
sometimes you just have to. You just have to be
taken advantage of.
Yeah,
I like.
And that just is what it is.
I like that.
I keep thinking like, okay, marriage isn't supposed to always be fun. It's not always supposed to always be good. There are times where like I'm having a bad time and you're having a good time, and that feels so unjust because we're one. But like sometimes my foot is having a bad time and my brain is not. You know what I mean? Like, so like if we're part of the bot, like, so you're like, okay, that's fine. This is fine. And then you get into the minutia of your marriage and that affects the big stuff. Like something I was praying about today, a realization I had today. I was at the airport. The Uber was taking too long. Let's get a rosary out. I'm thinking to myself, I'm just being contemplative between decades. And I was thinking about my marriage. And then I was like, what am I doing in my marriage that is negative or that I can change or whatever? And I was imagining, I've been doing this thing where I'm trying to have a good attitude. And if my wife asks me to do literally anything, I just do it. I'm just like, what? It's fine. I'll just go take out the trash. I'll just get it right now. And it's been working, but I was realizing like, oh, I think I've been doing this. Like my wife is like, hey, can you do this for me? And she's very pregnant right now. So she asks me for a lot of things. And I do this. I go, oh, okay, yeah, I got it. And I'm thinking to myself and I go, how cool is it that I'm always there for my wife? She can depend on me for anything. I'm always helpful. But over time, maybe how bad does that make her feel? Or how weird, or maybe I just look like a baby. Or I'm not meaning to do that. I am not put out by my wife, but I'm imagining, I was like thinking back to myself and how often I'm like psyching myself up like, oh, okay, I got you. And I'm like, no, what is the point of doing it if I'm not going to do it joyously?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you get to help your pregnant wife.
Yeah.
What else is life about?
Yeah, that's
what
good.
important thing am I doing that I'm huffing and puffing?
Yeah, it's almost worse when you ask somebody to do something and they do that. Then you just feel guilty.
I would rather.
Don't worry about it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And to my wife's credit, she hasn't done that, but she also can't do that in some ways because she's so pregnant right now. But like, I was thinking about that today and I was like, dude, I gotta get my attitude together. I can't be huffing and puffing.
Brothers, Christ is risen. Indeed, he is risen. And the church gives us 50 full days to celebrate the joy of Easter. Many of us know how to fast for 40 days, but we're far less sure how to really live those 50 days in the victory of the resurrection. That's why I want to invite you into the Weight of Glory Challenge from our sponsor, Exodus 90. Exodus isn't just a one-time 90-day program, but a way of life shared by tens of thousands of men learning to live as beloved sons of the Father in small fraternities. The ascetic practices are never the goal. They're just simple tools to make space for an encounter with God's transforming love in the middle of our real messy life. If you're longing to be more present to your family, more faithful in prayer, and freer from the pharaohs that quietly rule your heart, this is a concrete way to invite the risen Christ into all of that. He wants to meet you where you are and lead you into a deeper, quieter joy. St. Paul says our trials embraced in faith prepare us for an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison. And that's exactly what this Easter season challenge, led by Dr. Jared Stout and Father Jonathan Meyer, is all about. Join the Exodus 90 Brotherhood today to live out the joy of Easter through the Weight of Glory Challenge. Download the Exodus 90 app to start your 14-day free trial, or visit exodus90.com/Matt to learn more. That's exodus90.com/Matt. The Weight of Glory Challenge runs throughout the Easter season. Download the app today and become the man God created you to be. I think what's tough about marriage sometimes is, like, I could imagine you perhaps, say, texting her or calling her and apologizing for the ways that you do that.
Yeah.
But as you're apologizing, realizing, I will do this when I see you, like tonight, again.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
because usually when you apologize to somebody for something, the understanding is you won't do that thing anymore. But there's just so much that you need to apologize for and that she needs to apologize for that she won't change. And so you just got to apologize knowing I'll probably do this in the next 12 hours. I'm sorry for that one too.
Dude, that's the main thing about marriage, is that marriage is like life. Like, it's not supposed to be just. It's about how I react to how unjust it is.
What's that line from Clint Eastwood? Fear's got nothing to do with it.
Right. Yeah.
It's not fair. Is nobody says at the end? I forget that movie.
I know what you're referencing, but I don't at the same time.
Yeah, that's good.
But that's so true. It's just like when you're in a marriage, you yearn for justice. We both have to be happy. We both have to be equal. We both have to be this. You can't get to go do this and then I have to do this extra chore and then we never switch. I never get to go on vacation, or it's always a tit for tat or a this and that. And that's not marriage. Marriage isn't just. It's not supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no.
It reminds me of this post I saw recently. This husband put it a Facebook post and he said, word to the wise, don't come home from a whole day of golf and ask your wife what's for dinner. And I thought, well, why the hell not?
Yeah.
Just tell her to make you dinner. She should just love you and make you dinner.
Right.
And if you're a woman who's offended by that, flip it and you'll no longer be offended, and you'll see how infected we all are by feminism.
Right.
Like imagine a woman going, just so you know, don't go out with the ladies and come home and ask your husband like to put the kids to bed. Well, why the hell not?
Yeah. He's their dad.
Yeah.
And I was out having a good time. That's awesome.
Now,
like
obviously when you take in the particularities, there could be like if she's overwhelmed or he's, I understand that.
But there's the obsession with balance in marriage is gone. You're not two people, you're one person. There's nothing balanced about this. Balance is out. Stop trying to be balanced. Stop trying to be equal. Stop trying to like even the score or whatever. And it's almost all of it's automatic. It's not like we're consciously being like, so I put the kids to bed 2 nights in a row, so she owes me a night. You know?
No, we all wake up and we interpret reality through our own preferences and desires and needs.
Right.
And two people are now waking up in a bed and they're interpreting reality based on what they think they need.
Right.
And that's not bad. It's just a kind of starting point.
But
And
what
then God teaches you how to love, and it's brutal.
Yeah, I want to get to the point where I wake up and I want to interpret reality based on what my wife and kids know.
Come on. And
Right?
I tell you what, I want that too. I also don't want it, which is why I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, no, it's tough.
But I know that if I did do that, I could actually finally be happy.
I know. Dude, in my stand-up right now, I talk about a time in my life I was wildly depressed, but I had the most money and I was doing the best and I had women and everything, right? I had all the carnal pleasures you could imagine, and I was single in New York. And I was so depressed, and I talk about this in the stand-up. This is as I'm beginning to find God and get out of depression, and I'm so depressed, and I immediately forgot where I was going with this. But
I remember this bit in your stand-up. It was amazing because you talked about how your friends in New York,
yeah,
were on like Xanax or whatever.
yeah. They're all like the general idea of it is that they're trying to. I go to them because they're all advocates for mental health.
Yes.
Yeah. We're all about positive mental health, self-care, and I go, I think I want to end my life, but I have money and women and success. Like, what is going on, guys? I'm happy. Why am I sad? And they were like, oh, it's totally normal. What you need to do is take medication, do this. And in the joke and in real life, I come to the realization that they're trying to feel good, not get better. And I was kind of like, oh, I've always been of the mind that I don't really care how I feel. Like how I feel is irrelevant compared to like what is true and important or what needs to get done or what my mission is.
Okay, that's interesting.
And before I would just make the mission up.
Yep.
I was a very like Albert Camus, like let's just get out and dance. Life is meaningless. Make your own meaning. But then you find God and he goes, get it together. And you go, oh yeah, my bad. And then you realize like what reality is about, but living for those other things as opposed to your own selfishness. Like the amount of days I fail to pray the rosary, a thing that would take me 15 minutes that I don't even have to take seriously. I could do it badly instead of not doing it.
Yeah.
At the least.
Yeah.
I don't even do that. I don't even speed through it some days.
Yeah.
It's so easy. It's like, what is that? I've been really on that. Oh man, I'm immediately spacing the quote, but I do what I don't desire and I desire what I don't do.
Right.
It's when Peter,
Yes.
the freaking rock, or is it Peter?
Paul,
Paul, yeah.
The things I want to do, I cannot do.
Yeah.
Who will save me from this body of death?
Yeah, and he's talking about like his desires for sin, despite the fact that he knows what he truly desires.
When, going back to your journals and people reading them after the fact, I wonder if when we're reading, like, I do the things I don't want to do, if Paul's up there being like, okay, so in context, wasn't having a great day.
I thought only one person was going to read that.
Didn't expect this was going to be a worldwide bestseller.
Yeah. God didn't tell us that this was the Bible. He was just inspiring us.
I was writing a letter.
Yeah. That's how I.
That's probably one of the most relatable passages in all of Scripture. The things I want to do, I cannot do. And
when I tell you, when I read that and I just sat back and went, whoa.
When did you read that? Like as a non-Christian or?
No, right during my conversion.
Yeah.
And it was right after I had been baptized and I went to confession for the first time and I was like feeling beat down by sin and the desire for sin and just like, is this even possible?
Yeah.
I don't know if, maybe I was about to say, I don't know if any adult converts, and I'm like, no, cradle Catholics, all of us, that feeling of like, literally there's no way. There's just no way to beat it. There's no way I'm going to avoid mortal sin for any amount of that feeling of hopelessness.
Yeah.
Despair where you're just like, and it's not even that you want it. It's just that like, dude, this is crazy. But you stick with it. You pray. You do get there, if anyone's wondering.
I was with a beautiful Benedictine monk, Father Barnabas, shout out. Amazing guy. You'd love this guy. I'll give you one sentence he said to me to show you that you would love this guy. We're walking into his rectory and he turned around and went, actually, do you want to see my piranhas? And I went, yes. All right.
Absolutely.
Father Barnabas was saying to me that he's more and more convinced that Satan doesn't just want us to sin, but wants us to feel the effects of sin.
Yes.
Isolation and chaos and
I'm convinced. You know what else was a big moment for me as I was converting was learning that sin darkens the intellect.
Yeah.
and like, because there's this thing when anyone who has come over to Catholicism or conservatism from far left, and there's a ton of us right now. I talk to people all the time. They're like genuine like Discord support groups for tons of leftists who have come to Catholicism or just conservatism, kind of giving it up because they see like, oh, everyone's eating each other. This is terrible. No one's getting anything done. Hypocrites, yada, yada, yada. So they come over and again, I forgot what I was talking about.
Well, Discord servers, leftists coming over looking for encouragement. What did I say? Father Barnabas was saying the effects of sin.
The effects of sin.
And Satan doesn't just want the sin. He wants us to feel discouraged.
Right.
He just get you into a place where you're discouraged. It's almost like the sin's irrelevant. The sin was just meant to buy this. So if I could just get you to feel this, whether or not you sinned, that's the goal.
When I talk to these people, and when I also converted, the embarrassment from sort of your lack of critical thinking skills on certain subjects, or your like suspension of disbelief on certain things, like it's crazy. You feel crazy. It's almost like the veil is lifted where you're like, I was really telling people that, or like, you know, there's just so many things, like even just confidently telling people that atheism is right, or that Christianity is like bad for the world. You know, it's like you've never read a history book ever? Is that what's going on here? Like, and then you when you look back and you're like, oh, sin darkens the intellect. I wanted to believe that there's no way pornography could harm people long term, because of course I did. And I was being dumb about it because of course I was. I was sinning so much that my sin was justifying itself. You know, there was no critical thinking going on. So, which is, that's a wild one. The sin darkens the intellect.
I've probably brought this up to you before, but Metallica and Some Kind of Monster, the documentary. Did you watch that? Did I bring this? Do you remember when James Hetfield is talking to the camera, or he's talking to whoever's interviewing him, and he refers back to the early days where he would wake up in some bed with some woman that he doesn't even know. He's drunk out of his head. He's got a show to do. Yeah. And he compares it to today where he's sober and he's got children, and he's like, this is a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
And to have James Hetfield say that was way more convincing than St. Augustine or somebody else saying it to me at the time where I was.
That's so funny. It is crazy to be like, okay, so just everywhere, just generally, it's smarter to do that. To just like, it's so much more rewarding to have a family, but it's so difficult. This all goes back to where I say someone cut their nose off and you're like, that's easier? Yes. Do you not think it would be easier to cut your nose off than to be a good husband for a year?
I think it would be easier, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I choose it because it sounds terrifying.
Right. You don't want to choose it, but it does sound easier, right? Yeah. It is. Just think of like a quick moment of pain and some healing.
I'm just thinking like fast forward 3 months from now, I'm Pints with Aquinas and I don't have a nose.
You're just on without a nose.
And I never comment on
You're wearing a Rolex with no nose. So things are going good over here, you guys.
So funny.
Your hair's fuller than ever.
Yeah, right.
Something's weird about it.
Yeah, he's buff. Talk to me about watches. I don't understand. I like that people are in. Here's what I like. Let me zoom out a bit. I love it when anyone is into something.
Yeah, me too.
Whether it be Warhammer or Rolexes or trains or even not football. I changed my mind. Not anything. For some reason that bores me. But when people are into the niche of the thing, the more interested I am in them.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about watches. Why are people into watches?
I started getting into watches very, very, very recently.
Okay. All right.
So what happened
Tell me about how that happened.
So I got married. Yep. My grandfather gifted my father a stopwatch when he married my mom.
Still having the image of me with no nose but a Rolex.
Yeah. You're just doing so with a big gold chain with a dollar sign on it.
Hair.
You're like, weird. Matt's really doing good. No. Just see ya, everybody. You drive away in your Porsche, one ear is missing on this side. Just wow, how's he do it? So my grandfather gifted my dad a pocket watch. My dad gifts me the pocket watch when I get married. I have it when I get married. I just think it's cool.
That's so cool.
And I went to look up what kind of pocket watch it was and learn about it. And then I just ran into like watch culture. And so many people love watches and they have a lot of historicity and they're a mechanical thing, and there's a lot to them. But what's most interesting to me is watches are a tool that are made to last forever, depending on what kind of watch you have. So that means watches, if they last forever and they're a tool, that makes them essentially like a car you wear on your wrist. So guns, cars, watches, these are all like permanent items that hold value, or depending on what they are, and last for your whole life that you give to people. So then people go, okay, well, my watch lasts forever. It's worth a lot of money. And it's this beautiful contraption with all this passion and hard work and science. And then what you do is you have a watch that lasts forever. So then how are you going to use it? Well, what watch are you going to wear when your kids are born? Well, do you wear the same watch when every single one is born? Mm-hmm. Well, now that watch has like these special memories attached to it, but because it's a permanent item of high value that never is destroyed, it keeps carrying these things with you. Mm. It's a witness to the game. Like this is how I'll explain watches to someone who doesn't like watches.
Do it.
You like to play video games. Do you like board games, video games? Do you like games in general or experiences?
Sure.
Right?
Just because I don't want to derail. Sure.
Right,
yes,
right.
I love
sure.
it.
Yes. I know you like some games.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So when someone watches you play a game or you play a game with someone, it makes it more special.
100%.
Memory lasts longer.
I just did this yesterday. Pandora Directive, a game from the 90s that I love. Play it with my son.
Dude, the
Loved
best.
it.
Even if my daughter just watches.
My son sometimes asks me to play and he wants to watch.
My daughter does it too. I love that. I'm like, yes. And sometimes I do it to her. You play, I'll watch. Let's hang out together.
I want to ask people in the comments, does anybody know the Pandora Directive? I think 3%.
I don't know it.
No one knows it.
Interesting.
It's the best game ever invented.
Crazy.
And it's a point-and-click adventure game. But tell us in the comments.
I love a
I just want to know if I met someone and they said they like Pandora Directive, I'd be like, could you please be my best friend? All right, so I get the point.
So the witness to the game makes the game more special.
Yep.
The witness makes the memory forever, right?
All right.
So when you do something like get married wearing a watch, your baby is born and you're wearing the watch is a witness.
Okay.
The watch is the witness to the memory.
Okay.
So the watch begins to accumulate witnessings and therefore accumulates value based on where it's been and what it's seen because it is a witness. That's why people love things like the moon watch. That watch was invented to go to the moon. It witnessed the moon. When you wear it, you're wearing a witness to a man walking on the moon, right? And that's like special to you. So as a man, as you get older, you get a fancy watch and you wear it and you make it a part of your story and it witnesses your story play out and you pass the witness on to other people who then accumulate witness.
I see.
And these make the items they're basically irreplaceable. And so a lot of people own watches.
It's almost like a relic in a way.
Yes, it's literally like a relic. And you know what? We're Catholic. We can just have our watches blessed, bro. We could turn our watches into relics, which I wish I had this when I went to Rome.
Could I ask to see that? Would you mind if I asked you to
So
tell me about this watch?
This is a Hamilton Khaki Field Murph.
Okay.
I think I'm saying that right. Or it's just a Murph. So this is a field watch. This is technically a tool watch. And it goes, this is this company, Hamilton, they made watches that went to D-Day.
Okay.
So this is an automatic watch. It has no battery, but it will run literally forever if you take care of it. It has a little pendulum in it.
And when did you get this?
I got this a couple weeks ago. So my wife, I'm
afraid that this thing will pinch my hair.
I don't know.
I'm also afraid I'm going to break it.
If it fits.
Man, I'm fat. I got fat wrists, dude.
Oh, well, I've got skinny little dainty wrists.
Oh,
this is a good watch. I like your watch. Yeah, this is good. So
is this an expensive watch? Can I ask?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought that to wear while my daughter's born.
It's not a cut your nose off to afford a cut.
It's not a cut your nose off watch, but it's something. Dude, wear your watch, I had to put it on the very last rung. You do have big wrists, my.
Do you have different types of watches?
I do.
Is this the first watch that you were like, I'm going to get into watches?
This is the watch. This is like, when I'm older, I want my kids to be like, that's dad's watch. It's dad.
I can't wait to go back to the YouTube analytics and see when all of my audience dropped out of this episode. I got a feeling it's around the watch.
They're just like, yeah, we're out. We're out on the watches.
Look, we appreciate you and Shayne. Yeah.
I always have people at shows be like, I saw you on Pints and I loved it. Thank you so much. I can't wait for my next show to be like, I tried to watch you on Pints. I was out after you cut Matt's nose off, but
cool watch. So all right, so yeah, and that makes sense. Like if you viewed watches like that, the way that you do, if you know, I don't know if I could ever get into it like that. I have other things I get into, but I'm just saying if you're into watches the way you're describing, I can then understand why people would invest a lot of money in a watch.
Right. Yeah. But then there's like ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
Where people have like $100,000 watches.
Yeah.
That don't seem like they're worth $100,000.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure there's a website, and I'm pretty sure because a friend told me, that you can buy expensive looking watches, but like the buttons don't even work. Like they're a replica of the cool.
Yeah. You could get knocked.
That must frustrate the watch community.
I don't think they care, because if you're a watch guy, the watches you wear, like no regular person sees my watch and goes, oh, but a watch guy sees I've had a watch guy at the airport be like, hey, I like your watch, brother.
Keep talking. I'm going to find my computer. I want to look up stuff about watches while we talk.
Go look it up. But so like this, so if you're a watch guy and you see someone with a fake Rolex, like, you know. Really? You're aware because you're a watch guy. Non-watch people, they don't even know a Rolex half the time when they see it. Not that the Rolex, I mean, it's just the most famous brand. I would say the best. Omega, is that what we want to say? I don't know. That's what James Bond wears.
What are we looking up?
You should look up Omega Seamaster. That's the watch.
Ben Shapiro's watches.
Oh, here we go.
You know that Ben has some freaking expensive watches.
Dude.
I bet. Okay, so here's one. Someone's got a photo of him wearing a watch that looks like his discussion with Russell Brand, though I can't be sure.
I don't know what kind of watch that was.
I thought it was much simpler. I thought it was like dudes want to wear jewelry, and this is their only way to do it.
It's more about like the historicity, that's a word, everyone, that I'm using. And and the witness of the watch, and like the general engineering and craftsmanship. The engineering of a watch is crazy. I decided I needed a nice watch when I watched a video of someone.
What's happening?
Apart a watch, putting one back together.
Oh, okay.
Oh
thank
my
you.
gosh. Yeah. You're great.
You can adjust it, but feel free to keep the non-focus in the. Yeah, sorry about that. See, but I'm looking at watches right now, and they're all.
Should I use the restroom?
Yeah, can we pause? Let's pause, and we'll take a urination station.
A urination station.
Oh, he's gonna love this.
Oh, am I out of focus again? No.
We'll cut to now.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see in like 3 seconds. Someone's about to
come back and be like, you really did that.
So I don't know why I was looking up. I just know Shapiro's into watches is why. All right. But okay. How can you tell a fake Rolex? Let's see what AI says about that, because I could never tell. To spot a fake Rolex, check for smooth sweeping. That's what you talked about. Second-hand motion rather than ticking.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
This ticks, though, but this isn't a Rolex. But.
No, not a Rolex.
But like, if that's the only thing, who cares? But again, your point is, it's not about other people.
It's not about
It's about me and it being a witness.
Because you want, again, the watch is it's like for other watch guys. It's not for regular people.
It's like beards.
Yes.
Beards aren't for women.
They're for men. Yeah. Same with muscles.
Yeah.
Muscles aren't for women.
It's true.
The
more women I speak to, the more I'm finally convinced.
Dude, when I'm at the gym and I put up a decent squat and a dude is like, hey, brother, nice. I'm buzzing. When a girl is like, you look handsome, I'm like, do I know you? That is a nice compliment to get, but actually women aren't telling me I'm handsome. I'll be real. That would be hilarious if they were.
Oh, that's so good.
But in my fake scenario where I was mean to a woman who's never existed, a random woman coming up to tell me I'm handsome, it's literally
Get away from me.
Never in my life happened to me.
That makes me feel better because I'm like, I guess this is just what happens to fellas.
In a fantasy world where a woman was nice to me and then I was immediately mean to her in my own brain, that can't be good.
Can we point out that we have 6 drinking vessels on the table?
Dude, and we peed like it.
Yeah, bedroll.
A little bedroll action.
Very cold coffee. You do a lot of podcasts these days? Do you go on people's shows?
Yeah, here and there.
So I have a question. Is it weird? And the reason I ask this is I remember a comedian on Joe Rogan's show talking about this. It must be weird to be expected to be funny.
Yeah.
And it must be weird for the host to not realize that you're a normal person who wants to have a normal conversation, I guess. I don't know. Does that happen?
It does happen. You want people to let you be funny on your own terms. Like, yeah, I'm a comedian. I'll be silly.
Yeah.
But it sucks when you show up and like we were talking about earlier and like literally like you show up at a place and they're like, we're so stoked you're here. And that's very fun. You're like, oh, cool. Awesome. You shake hands and you meet and you're getting ready to do the show. And they're like, dude, we've been so excited for this episode. This is going to be our funniest episode of all time. And you're like, oh, the pressure. Like I'm not doing bits, dude. I'm just here to be me. And me is a weird guy. Like, I can be funny, but I'm mostly weird.
Yeah.
We just talked about watches for like 10
Way
minutes.
too long.
And cutting your nose off and all kinds of stuff. People are like, what?
Yeah, because I remember watching Jim Gaffigan in interviews and I thought, he's great. Because you can tell he's not even interested in trying to be funny. He's clearly funny.
Yeah.
But in interviews, he's just like a real guy trying to think through things.
That's what I try to do as a comedian is like funny when appropriate, but I don't want to be like this guy's never off. Like that sucks. Like the inability to be sincere. I know a bunch of dudes like that, and I just don't want anything to do with
the inability to be
sincere. Yeah. People who are just always joking a little bit to the point that you're like, what do you really think about that? And they genuinely can't tell you. Not because they don't have an opinion, but because they won't have one. You know? They just like, if everything's a joke, it gives them permission to live in a certain way.
I went to Zany's recently. It's interesting to me how someone can come up on stage, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure there's cases where someone will walk up on stage, you form an opinion, and then they subvert it. But some people just walk on, and you're like, oh, you'll never make it. Like, you're not good.
Yeah.
Just from the energy of you walking on, I get the sense that, and then the first sentence maybe. But then there are other people like who are really good. Like when John Christ came on, there was like an energy and we all got sucked into it.
Yeah. You can feel someone that's like in control. Their body language.
That is what it is, I think.
There's a ton of subconscious stuff happening in comedy that even we as comedians aren't quite sure about.
This is why, to go back to the point I made many years ago that made the internet hate me, I think this is why I've never found a funny female stand-up. It's control. It's very normal and natural for a man to get on stage and control a room.
Yeah.
There's something that's not, and I'm not saying women, maybe it's possible, I still haven't found a funny stand-up. There's one Sheila who I heard, I'm like, that's the closest. She had like a southern accent. I liked her. She was doing mum jokes.
Okay.
You can talk about gross stuff, which is what a lot of women do. But I think the reason a lot of women resort to the gross stuff is they don't have the control that a man has. Let me finish my thought, then you can call me a sexist.
Yeah.
So when I made this point, which apparently I keep choosing to make, I had a woman write a piece in Psychology Today who used to be a female stand-up, and she was defending me.
Well, okay, yeah.
Okay, well, here's why.
Used to be.
Fair enough.
Your strategy is, she seems like she knows.
Yeah, right. Here's the point. She says you can either blame a woman, not blame a woman. You can either say the woman isn't funny naturally because she doesn't have what it takes to command a room in the way a man does, and that's because of her biology. Or you can blame it on sexism and just say we have been conditioned to not to be kind of weirded out when a woman tries to demand my attention in the way that a man does. So you can either take the kind of biology route or the sexist patriarchy route and still agree with me.
Yeah. So I would agree with you and disagree with you at the same time. I think women are super funny, but the context of stand-up is just bad for them.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah.
I was just watching, who's the Sheila from Parks and Rec?
Oh, Amy Poehler.
She's outstandingly hilarious.
Her and
she's amazing.
And
brown-haired Sheila.
Her friend who's on
Tina
30
Fey?
Rock, Tina Fey.
Yes.
Dude, I'm having the most brain fart week. My wife
It's because of the monk fruit instead of the sugar.
My wife keeps making jokes because she has like baby brain. Because she's literally going to have a baby like this week.
Maybe
so,
now.
Yeah.
Check
Genuinely,
your phone. You actually probably could have kept your phone on you.
Could have. It'll be fine. I'll get home. But
okay, then why do you agree with me then that stand-up isn't what's conducive? See how I'm pulling you into my sexism?
Yeah.
Why you think maybe stand-up isn't conducive to a woman shining? Because we agree that women are funny. I just don't know.
I think women are funny. I'm regular style sexist, not women aren't funny sexist. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's right. You went one whole step. Yeah.
So, no, I have an even worse opinion is that, no, this group of people can...
They're not even people.
Yeah.
Shit.
Have you ever seen an African make a joke? Actually, dude, there's a Nigerian comedian.
I don't even know what that sentence means. Have I ever seen an African make a joke?
I'm being a guy who has a worse opinion than you. Yeah. That's the bit is that I'm finding worse group to be like, if you ever even seen... No, so women can be funny, but the context of stand-up comedy is like I'm a guy in front of all of you. It's very raw. It's kind of weird. It's confrontational in nature. Like it can be ruined by the audience or the comedian.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is confrontation. It's a very masculine place.
Okay.
There's drinking. Sometimes there's smoking.
No, but the confrontation thing makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like you're getting up to go to war on these people.
100%.
Yes.
Comedy is confrontation. Stand-up comedy.
There you go.
So when you see Tina Fey and you're like, you are one of the greatest comedy writers who ever lived. Okay. You're so genuinely funny. Like her book is really fun. She has a really funny book. Like she's great. I think 30 Rock is a genius show, even though it is pretty inappropriate at times. So funny. She kills it. But I don't know that I would love her stand-up. I just don't know. There is something about it. But there are some women who rush. They subvert that confrontational expectation. I find that women who don't do impressions of men are the funniest.
When they don't do impressions.
So like women who aren't being like women who have like very specific styles to them. And so like Maria Bamford. Oh, so good.
I'll have to look her up.
She kills it. She's very weird. You might not like her, but she's very like she's very like just out there, totally
but she's
weird.
She's
herself,
authentic,
dude. No one's more authentic. Her and Norm, she's like Lady Norm to me.
Okay.
I think she's so cool and funny and interesting and dresses really weird. She rocks. Maria Bamford is an artist like through and through.
Could you send me something?
Yeah, definitely.
Send me a link or something. I'd love to watch it.
So there are lots of comics like her that I think are so good. Miss Pat, wildly inappropriate. Okay, couldn't be more inappropriate, just so everyone knows, has a very particular style to her.
All right.
So these are great female comics. But yeah, when lady comics come out and they're kind of doing like Sam Kinison, you know, like, I'm nasty and I'm gross and I'm saying a story about this. And you're like, yeah, why are you doing like shock comedy at me? You know, I don't even like when men do it these days.
Yeah.
Let alone, like, I don't want to see, and especially now too, because like any woman who's in the limelight is like somehow good looking. Like every woman is good looking now because like Instagram, you know, like we don't have like funny looking women anymore.
We don't?
No, I never see them. Every woman who's on stage is like wearing like a nice outfit and looks done up and fancy. I'm like, you look like a nice woman, you know, but like, for dudes, I can still see guy comedians who I'm like, gross. Yeah, you belong up there. Like, you know what I mean? Like in your worldwide wrestling shirt that you're wearing unironically and your ill-fitting pants, you know?
A guy got up on stage at Zanies and he's like, I don't have sleep apnea. I know I look like I do.
It's so
what
good.
A great line.
Yeah.
Because it was only at that moment that I realized that people who have sleep apnea have a look.
Yeah, that's
I
so
guess,
funny.
Or
yeah.
I assumed that they did.
That's funny. Yeah, I like that line. Dude, Zanies rocks.
Yeah.
I need to come down here.
Now, if you had are you staying the night tonight?
No.
Okay. If you were, is that something you can call up and be like, hey, I'm here. Can I?
Yeah. Yeah, depending on the comedy club, I'm at a point in my career where I can just call and be like, "Do you have a spot for me? Can I like pop into a show and do some time?"
That's nice.
I never do it because I'm lazy. Also, it's not just that I'm lazy. Genuinely, I'm like, I don't know. I kind of am done with doing that so much. I moved out of New York, and now I'm just kind of like hang out with my family. And when I write my comedy, I kind of just like know what I'm doing. So I don't need to like go into workout rooms to test it as much.
Really?
I just kind of like write my hour and do it. Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine that most comedians would hear that and go, "That's complete."
They hate
BS.
it. It makes they're annoyed by me or think I'm like trying to be cool or whatever. That is genuinely my process. I write my hour and then I just do it.
But then you did just say that this talk, this special is going to be a lot tighter.
100%.
Because you've been giving.
Yeah. As I do the hour and work on it, things change, things move, things get tighter, some things leave, some
Yeah.
things.
So how is that not a contradiction?
Because I'm not working it out in rooms where you work out. I'm working it out on stage while headlining.
Oh, okay.
So I write the whole hour and I perform the whole hour without practicing it.
I see.
Yeah.
So you give it as a headliner multiple times until it's ready to record.
Comedians usually write their bits
This is
a story at a time or 10 or 15 minutes at a time. Whereas I write them an hour at a time, which is like not something normal comics do. I also don't even just write them an hour at a time. I don't write them out. The most I'll ever, like my hour right now, you heard it. It's like, right now it's about an hour and 10 minutes. If I'm like hustle through and make everything good, I need to shorten it a little. But so an hour and 10 minutes, the most I've written of it is like maybe 10 lines. I just write the bullet points so I remember it.
Yeah.
But my writing process, I don't like sit and write. I will at the end. So like my hour right now, when I am getting close to filming and I have like 2 or 3 months left and I'm going to perform it, I'll actually sit down and I'll transcribe the whole thing out from memory as best I can. And then I'll go over it and try to tighten it up.
Yeah.
But when I wrote it for the first time I performed it, what I do is I go on walks or runs or I go to the gym and I perform for an audience in my mind. And I just do that over and over until the whole hour. And I just keep performing it in my imagination. And then I go out and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are there times where your imagination audience is way more into you than the...
No.
Good.
No, usually they're tougher. They're tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough, yeah.
But it's worked. That's how I've written like my last 4 specials, by performing for an audience in my mind.
I feel like I can relate to you on a lot of this stuff. I'm not a comedian, but I give a lot of talks, and I think I'm kind of funny when I give talks. I'm funny if people aren't expecting me to be funny.
Yeah.
If they came to me expecting me to be funny, they'd be deeply disappointed.
You're sneak attack funny.
Yeah. You know what it's like when you encounter somebody, maybe a barista or something, and you know, sometimes like you feel like it's not even a really human connection. Like, hi, how are you? What would you like?
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's like, hi, and you've made contact.
Mm-hmm.
To me, sometimes the audience feels like a person who I've made contact with and now can be more playful with.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I there's one being in front of me.
Yes.
And I can go slower or faster or be a little like subtle because I know you get it because I'm getting to know the person.
Right.
There was one time I gave a talk. This was brutal. They had me come and give a talk on sex. Back when people used to do that before marriage. Now everyone's just on their phones. But back in the day when it was a real issue and you had to talk to teens about not having sex before marriage.
Yeah.
I got up in this gymnasium to talk to all these kids who were sitting on the floor. And this is when I was young and cool and had no fear. So I'm like, yeah, I'll talk to them about sex. No problem. Anyway, so I get up. But what I like when I give a talk to people is I like the lights to be dimmed a little bit. I don't want them feeling like this, like we're in a studio and I have to look at their faces while I talk to them about their shame, right? So I say to the guy, hey, would you mind if we just actually it was before the prayer. I'm like, do me a favor, would you just turn the lights down, like just a couple of them off? So I start the prayer before the talk starts and it just goes pitch black. Well, it turns out it's one of these old gymnasiums where the lights take like 20 minutes to go back on. Because I'm like, you know, hey.
No.
So, you know, I'm like, hey, man, if we could please put the lights back on. And the lights start to go on, but at that moment, I didn't know how long it was going to take for the lights to come on. If I had have known it was going to take 15 minutes to look normal, I would have said, let's regroup. But I didn't know that, so I just talked about sex to a bunch of teenagers in the dark.
You just have a flashlight. You're like, whoa!
You think this is scary?
Yeah.
Try HPV. Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Dude, that's so funny.
That was really
worst
awkward.
case scenario.
Okay, one more story, and then I want to ask you about your most awkward moments. People
Please.
who've listened to the show only have 5 stories that may have heard this already, but I was given a men's talk. I don't know what this was. This is my laptop. I didn't have my laptop. I'm given a men's talk, and I had this bit. It was like 5 rules every man must break. And as I'm on rule number 3, I realize I don't remember number 5. So so instead of going, and number 5, I just say the 3rd rule, move on to the 4th, and go, and finally, and I say it, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, that's that. Let's just end with a prayer. What's the 5th one? Sorry, what was that? What was the 5th one? Now, what I should have done is...
I misspoke.
What I should have done is just been like, I forget.
Yeah.
That would have been less awkward than what I did.
What did you do?
What I did was walked off the stage to my bag, pulled out my computer that had my talk on it, brought it over, opened it. That was what this was. Opened it up, realized my computer wasn't on. So I'm like,
hold on.
Dong.
Hey, can we get the lights down for a second?
And the 5th one was so disappointing. Okay, so I don't even remember.
You don't remember it now?
It was like, don't ask directions. That's a rule every man must break. We hear don't ask directions, but like in the spiritual life, you should some friggin' thing like that. Not the point. The point was it was really embarrassing.
That's so funny to get your computer and be like, even this isn't working.
Oh my gosh. So what are some moments you may have had?
Oh, I've had some really bad ones. I mean, bombs that are like terrible. Terrible. Once I did a show and I was told not to swear, and I was the host. And without realizing it, at a corporate show, I had said the F word like 3 times within 8 minutes of being on stage. And the guy was lighting me like over and over again.
From the side?
Yeah. And then the dude who was in charge just walked onto stage while I was still on stage. It was like, Shayne Smith, everybody. And then like shooed me off. And the owner of the club cussed me out. And was like, I can't believe you did that. And I was like beside myself. I was so embarrassed.
So you were apologetic as they were?
Yeah, I was like pulled
you didn't go
off
into defense mode. You were like, I'm so sorry.
I was in the wrong. I was in the wrong for sure. That was so brutal. I've had a lot of like just crazy bad during COVID. They were doing shows in New York where like you stand across the street and then they'll all stand across the street and you can do a show for them. And you're like, how would that work? You close the street down because it's like Brooklyn. So like maybe it's like a block party. That actually could be maybe cool, like a barbecue. No, you're literally just doing comedy with like a speak and spell, and there's a bunch of uninterested hipsters standing on a stoop, and cars are going by.
Oh,
and also
goodness.
There's pedestrians, and I don't know if you know this, but Bed-Stuy is full of the kinds of dudes who think it's hilarious to heckle comedians on the street and will also fight you. So it's just like
this is what you were dealing with.
So yeah, it was so horrible. I didn't really personally deal with a ton of it. I did like one show and I bombed so hard. At one point, a moving truck drove past me in between me and the audience, and I was just waiting like, oh, okay, my bad, everybody. And I remember I ended the story early and was like, I remember thinking like, I literally don't care. This isn't real. I don't have to care about this. Yeah. But as a comedian, other comedians are always watching you, and you're always very keen to like, my peers are seeing me fail. Yeah. It always feels bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. How much would it cost? Let's say you were here tonight and Zanies was open. Mm-hmm. Just for fun. How much would I have to pay you for you to go up tonight and intentionally bomb without it being clear that you're intentionally bombing? No one's ever asked that question.
No one's ever asked that. So when you said intentionally bomb, I was like, that's funny. I'll do it for free. Yeah. But for no one can know. Now I'm like, no amount of money, maybe. No amount of money. Because that's like selling my dignity. But to fail, to bomb and people know know that I know I'm bombing, I'll do that.
Yeah.
That's funny because it'll be funny to me.
Yeah.
I've gone out and bombed on purpose because I didn't like an audience.
Okay.
I've been mad at an audience before. I was doing like an outdoor show at like this festival in Utah, and the audience was like so terrible to the comic before me, and people were like heckling, but not even in like clever ways, just like, why would you say that? Like that kind of thing, you know? And I went up and was just like, you guys think that's good? What about this? And I was like reading comments off of a YouTube video and like disrespecting, like, I don't respect your time or your energy. And I was like, there were like people in this, we were like in a tent and like a festival, and you would have to get up and walk to the back of the tent to leave. And I was like, you can't escape easily. I'm gonna see you if you stand up to leave. Like I was just like being insane at the audience, like totally getting them. But it was actually kind of working.
Yeah.
Like the more confrontational I was, people thought it was kind of funny.
You remember the famous incident of Bill Burr? Is it Bill Burr back when he was funny? Is that his name? Bill Burr?
Bill Burr, yeah. Bill Burr was funny once.
Yeah. When he got up and abused an audience.
Oh, he's famous for doing that.
It was very...
Bernie Mac has the most famous one of all time at the Apollo Theater.
I don't know who that is.
The Apollo Theater is a very famous place where comedians would get Sandman, a guy with a crozius or like a cane comes out and like pulls you off stage. That Looney Tunes meme.
Okay.
That's from the Apollo Theater where they have like a cane and they yank you off stage.
If you're not good.
So at this theater, it's very common, apparently back in the day, for them to heckle comedians on purpose. Like if you start to bomb, everyone boos you, they throw things at you, they go crazy. So like this is the hardest place to perform in the country because if you do bad, they punish you.
Is it still that way?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But Bernie Mac is like goes up after someone bombed or something, and they were like really mean to him and booed him even though he's very funny, and he gets up and the very first thing he does, he goes, I'm not afraid of you, mother effer. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. And he's like so intense and serious and not funny, but then he says something funny and like, dude, a killer set, but just to go up there and his first words, he's not even trying. I'm not afraid of you. Wow. You're like, ooh, no way. This guy's for real. Bernie Mac was so good. He was so much better than people gave him credit for. He was a legit
I'm embarrassed to say
all-time
I don't know
comedian.
who that is.
Bernie Mac?
Yeah.
You gotta look him
But
up.
I don't know a lot of things I'm finding out.
Big black dude. He was in Transformers. He sells Shia LaBeouf Bumblebee.
I never watched Transformers. See, I don't know.
You're killing me.
I've never watched a game of football. There's a lot of things wrong with me.
You stop me if this is gossip.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to gossip. But and this is actually, I'm reading Father Gregory Pine's book about sins of speech, and I'm like, I gotta stop gossiping and swearing, my goodness. But what do you think about, speaking of Transformers, Shia LaBeouf's recent deal?
Oh, when he was crying, having been asked the question about Christ?
Yeah, did you watch that interview?
Not the whole interview, just that one section when he said, if Jesus was here, what would you say to him?
Yeah. But
so beautiful.
It is beautiful, but just Shia's situation in general.
I don't know what's going on with
So I guess, well, Shia's our age, but he's a very public Catholic, and he's a weird guy, and he's going through something.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but he's doing his thing. He's also an eccentric rich person. So who knows? He's an artist.
They're my favorite.
Right.
Yeah,
he's got stuff going on. But because I exist in the same kind of space as him, which is like weird online, guys our age, tattoos, art, Catholicism. It's a lot of people are like, Shia, what's the deal with this? And like talking to me or being negative towards him, saying how negative it is that he is going through what he's going through and is still talking about being Catholic.
So I don't understand still. What's he
Or
should we not talk about it?
We can talk about it. He did an interview. So what happened was he moves to New Orleans and he goes to Mardi Gras and he's partying. He's having some drinks and whatever. And he's like a phone off, just drinking out in the world kind of guy. He's a traveler person, right? Yeah. And so sure. And he gets into an altercation. He gets arrested. The altercation didn't seem too bad. It was just like something happened. Anyway, so he's drunk at Mardi Gras, doing Fat Tuesday, doing Mardi Gras things, sinning. not being great. He knows it. Anyway, he ends up in the news, and all these people are like, oh, Shia LaBeouf is off the wagon because he was sober for a while, and his life is being destroyed, and yada, yada, yada. And he's like, guys, I know I got arrested and it looks terrible, but like, I'm fine. I was just doing Mardi Gras, and I had a confrontation. He's like, one interaction compared to 2 million interactions, like, come on, chill. And he does this interview, and in that interview, you saw that's where he says that. He's a little drunk in the interview.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's a little drunk in the interview. And he's just doing the interview because, I don't know, he says he wants people to know that he's okay. But in the interview, he's a little drunk.
Okay. And you can tell he's drunk, or has it come out that he was drunk?
You can tell he's drunk. He seems it.
Yeah.
So again, he's not doing great, but he's also like, I'm not doing great, but I'm walking with Christ. I'm in it. I'm a work in progress. At one point he goes, I'm one of those dirty Christians, bro.
I love that.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I, as a Catholic, want you to take Jesus with you everywhere you go. There's nowhere Jesus is afraid to go. There's nowhere he can't be for you, with you, and I don't want Shia to not be with Christ. So like, but I also don't want him to abuse, forgiveness and all these other things. That's like the tightrope we're walking as Catholics, right? Yeah. And so it's so interesting to have people who are Catholics say, Shia is embarrassing us as Catholics.
Oh, no. I mean, that one clip I saw, it was one of the most beautiful things I'd seen.
Me too. And then there are people who are not Catholics saying, look at Shia, Catholics suck. This is what they're like. They're actually not good at being Catholic.
Yeah.
And so then you see these two things and you go, yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know. I support Shia and everything he's doing. I don't know. If you're going to be drunk, still love Jesus, still go to mass.
There's a difference between like, if I knew him personally,
right,
and we were like, and I was in a place to offer advice.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing where I don't know who this guy is, and I just see him. What do you want me to do? Condemn the guy?
Right.
There's enough going on here to condemn. I don't need to condemn him.
100%. And then there's people who are like, but weigh in. What do you mean weigh in?
Yeah,
I'm always so interested by that. Weigh in. This is where I formulated the like, you want Shia to have Catholic guilt, but you also don't. That's where I thought of that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's a great insight. I would make a great bit.
I know. I kind of want to tie it in, but I had that realization. Oh, they want Shia. They want to hold him to the moral standard and say he's a hypocrite, but they're also angry about guilt. And it's like, he can only be one, according to you in your own, in this version of this person's world. But yeah, what do you think about someone sort of doing badly and understanding that they're maybe sinning or not doing as best they could or messing up, but like still really being in it for Jesus,
Yeah, that's the Christian life, isn't it? God be merciful to me, a sinner.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to say, yeah, but he's not actually repentant, I would say, well, you don't have access to that information.
Right. And you also don't have access to like his addiction and the sort of deep roots of the sins he does struggle with.
There's a great line in a prayer I pray every night from Snefram the Syrian. If I have made fun of my brother's sins when my own faults are countless. Every time I read that, it's like a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
And not just make fun, like, ha, but just like pointing out things.
Right.
To look superior. It's like, have you met yourself?
Yeah.
You're in no place.
Yeah.
I'm in no place.
And what's scary is to think you're not, to think, oh, I am in a place. Mm-hmm. I am in the place to criticize or to say. I
fast 3 times a week. I tithe. Yeah. God be merciful to me, a sinner.
Yeah. I'm not in mortal sin right now. I'm good, actually.
Yeah.
So you're the bad one. And you're like, I never want to be that place.
Yeah. So Friedrich Nietzsche talks about ressentiment. He uses the French word for resentment because he's trying to distinguish it from, something that's just irritating or something.
No one resents like the French.
Yeah, if you want to resent hard. And what he means by ressentiment is it's sort of like a disdain at what you think you can't achieve. So if I'm not buff, which I'm not particularly buff, and you send workout photos to me, like, hey, crushing it at the gym, and I say something like, how sad that Shayne's so vain.
Right.
Now, maybe I mean that, and maybe it's true, but a lot of the time it's just because I feel like I'm incapable of attaining this good that you're attaining, and so I demonize the good. You see what I'm saying? That's what he means.
Yeah.
So My point is, I think this is often what happens when people blame you for being a Catholic and go, oh, look at you. Like you thought it's this resentment where it's like, I'm actually really angry at you for marrying and being happy.
Right.
So if you're not happy, that gets to confirm my preconceived evil idea that marriage is for suckers. And look at he's not even happy, or Matt's not even happy.
Right.
We demonize the good we believe ourselves incapable of attaining.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
now he did, of course, Nietzsche used it in reference to Christians, so I disagree with him there. But I think it's a really powerful insight and something we should all reflect upon. Like those things we resent and hate and try to demonize, should we be? Like success. Like you can imagine someone who he starts a business, right?
Yeah.
Because he wants to be wealthy and he wants to whatever, and then he fails. And then what he does is he blames everybody who is succeeding as being a sellout or materialistic.
Yeah.
Even if they are a sellout materialistic, that's not why he's saying it. He's saying it because he feels weak.
Yeah.
And this is Dostoevsky. This is the Notes from Underground Man. This is, so
interesting. I think that is a big part of like the cultural lash out at modesty right now. I feel like there's a big, the big push right now culturally is like, hey, we're not going to be modest. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing because when girls are like, oh, I'm modest at the gym now. Like, this is a big thing.
I wish they would stop dressing like whores at the gym. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah. When they wear, the Big Show one-lit, they're going to...
what that is.
The WrestleMania, the one... It's, crazy. You look WWE...
Yeah, and you think that the tights couldn't get any more immodest, and they added some kind of G-string to it?
Oh, yeah.
This is disgusting.
It's crazy. You look like if Randy Macho Man Savage was trying to get laid at the gym. It's embarrassing.
That looks bad. None of the women I've seen wearing this look that bad, but
no, but they it really is they're wearing swimsuits basically.
Yeah,
it's not.
No, it's shameful, and it ought to be perceived as shameful, and you ought to feel ashamed for wearing it.
I agree.
Just good. So women aren't funny. Women should feel ashamed. Continue.
Boom. We got them.
No, but I fully mean it. I fully mean it in love. Of course, that's what's true. Of course.
Here's the thing, everyone. Don't be mad at Matt. Women have had it too good for too long.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's this huge thing where tons of women who aren't even Catholic, just regular women, are like, I'm going to start dressing modestly at the gym. Big shirts.
How do we applaud them? For
I do. On Instagram, if I run into a reel of a woman being like, this is how I've been dressing modestly, and it's affecting how I feel at the gym, I think it's awesome. I'll be like, killing it, sister. Yeah. I'll just give them a little positivity. Nice. Hey, let's let them know. But there's a huge pushback from other women. I see it all. If I see a woman who's there was this famous viral video that went out recently, a famous viral video. What boomer sentence did I just say out loud?
Famous viral
video. That's a sentence straight out of my dad's mouth. Wow.
I didn't even know that was a boomer thing. That's how boomer I am, apparently.
A famous viral. I
mean, it's superfluous, but I didn't understand.
There's a viral video. So a video of a woman calling out female gym creators because in the beginning of their videos, they hike up their leggings, which is very clearly a draw the eye to your butt. They're trying to sexualize themselves.
Okay.
And so she says, this is bad. Women try to defend this by saying it's normal, but you set the camera up and included it. Why are you doing this? And then she goes, this is what I look like when I lift just normally. I'll show you a video of my third set of this group of workout. And she's wearing a big t-shirt and her regular people shorts, dressed like Adam Sandler or whatever. She just does her workout the way we would do it.
Yeah.
And she goes, and that's how it's done. And dude, the amount of negativity from women being like, actually, you don't get to police how I pull up my pants. And it's like, it's the resentment, resentment.
Yeah.
She's saying, anytime I read in a French, I'm going to read it in a French accent. You think you can police my body? They're just freaking out. And it's like,
it's interesting.
You're resentful because
It's a similar reaction from women when they get called out on being immodest to what you get from men when you tell them to not touch their penis.
Yeah.
I posted an article called on my Substack, The Lie We've Been Told About Masturbation. Men really don't like you when you tell them that, and you're not even demanding it because I'm not in a place to demand it.
Yeah,
I'm just like, maybe you could not self-abuse, men get really angry with you.
They do.
And it's a similar reaction from women who are dressing immodestly. And I don't think the anger would be there unless they knew that what they were doing was wrong to begin with, whether it be dressing immodestly or touching their willy.
Yeah, the touching the willy thing is the one that blows secular people's minds when they're asked, like, "You a Catholic? What is that? What kind of rules do you have to follow?" And every once in a while, a dude will be like, "You guys aren't allowed," and I'll be like, "No." That just explodes their brain. Like, how could you literally live? And I'm like, the fact that you can't imagine a world where you don't do that says to me that's very bad and negative. Like, if you can't stop something or you can't imagine life without it, what is it and why would you need it? You know, like it's so gross.
It's an adult pacifier.
Yeah.
It's a way to restore emotional equilibrium, my emotional equilibrium. I feel like rattled or anxious. And so I have the pacifier that makes me feel safe again. It's it's disordered. Okay, Willie's, what were we? I had something I wanted to ask you about so hard. Oh, here's what I wanted to ask you about. Now, you don't drink alcohol.
Nope.
You don't smoke marijuana or tobacco.
No.
How long have you been free and like chosen to live that lifestyle now, roughly?
Oh, since I was 14 years old.
That's remarkable. All right. I love having a whiskey and hope I'll never stop. My question though is there seems to be this big push for sobriety. And of course I'm all for it. If people are abusing alcohol, they shouldn't. It's a sin.
Right.
Aquinas refers to anyone who gets drunk even once as a drunkard. Like
really?
Well, I'd have to go back and to be particular, but he talks about someone who drinks too much alcohol as a drunkard. We say drunkard, but we just mean the most debased.
Yeah.
But I wonder, do you think all these people who are like, I'm sober, are all getting high? Because I think, yeah.
California sober?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Is it really? Is that a word?
Yeah, that's a real thing. California sober would be someone who's totally sober, but they probably do mushrooms and weed.
Okay.
They do the like holistic,
okay,
or the non-addictive or whatever. Marijuana's addictive 1 million trillion bajillion %.
Okay.
I don't know that mushrooms are, but maybe. That's California sober.
Okay. There you go. Didn't know there was a word for it.
There's a word. There's California sleeves. That's when you only have tattoos on your hands and your throat, but you wear a long sleeve or a jacket, and it looks like you're as tattooed as I am.
Huh.
So that's California sleeves. California has a lot of insults based on it, which sucks because there's so many cool people from California, but so many other people have done lame things to kind of like, put them on the burner.
All right, so just like, let's say that's true, this California sobriety thing.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
like celebrate the sobriety out loud, but they're also doing weed. It's like, well, I mean, okay.
Sure.
But I think this brings me to another thought. Someone said to me recently that they think the new hipster thing to do, and I fully disagree with this, right? They said the new hipster thing is going to be getting off social media altogether. And the reason I don't think that, I think that is cool.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll do it because I think we're too narcissistic to do it. Like, I'll do it, but I have to be able to tell everybody that I'm doing it constantly. So I'll do that through social. I can't do it through. So that's why it'll never happen.
I think it will.
So there'll be, I think, a small, quiet minority of people who choose to get out of the filth.
Yeah.
But I think for most of us, we want to proclaim that we've gotten out of the filth.
I think that we're going to pare down social media, and it'll become like though I think the way we use it is going to change. I think AI is going to break it.
Tell me.
I think that I think that we're going to get to a point where things don't feel real enough, like songs not made by people who seem like they're made by people, fake influencers, clips that aren't real, news that isn't real. Like, so much is going to be bad that we're going to return to analog on purpose. And analog is kind of going to be the place where we live.
What is analog? What is that?
Analog is like physical things.
Okay, so like
this
DVDs
watch is
again.
analog. DVDs are analog.
Videotapes might come back.
Videotapes, that kind of thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I think that, we're going to go in that direction. I think that as technology gets better, it's going to be like war. War is crazy. I know how to explain this better than the thought I'm trying to explain to you. So modern war is weird. We don't often get to see two equal countries fight each other. In war, we call this a peer-to-peer engagement, right? Incredibly rare in our modern times because of all the nukes we have. Ukraine and Russia begin to fight a peer-to-peer engagement. Two first world armies facing off. Now, everyone kind of is very interested in how this is going to go. And we all kind of thought, people who like military strategy and are very into it, like, oh, okay, so we're going to see how all these new weapon systems work and stuff. Well, but what happened was this. The technology becomes so good and so easily used by people who don't have a ton of training that some guy with hardly any training can fire a $60,000 missile and kill a guy that takes 9 years to train in his $1 trillion jet. So you can no longer use him in this theater of war. He needs to do a different job. You can't lose him to some farmer who graduated 7th grade and didn't go to any more school. You just can't do that. So the missiles and all this stuff gets so good that now we see what's going on in Ukraine and Russia is that they're just fighting World War I. They just have rifles and artillery and they're in trenches shooting each other because technology got so good that they could no longer leverage the advantages of it, and it forced them to meet each other in the year 1915. That's why that war looks like it does. That's why 4 years in, nothing's happened, because they're just in the trenches shooting each other 1920s style. I think the internet is going to push us to a place socially where the missiles are too good and we're just in the trenches with each other. Because
the missiles mean what in this?
The missiles mean like just content in general. We won't be able to know what's real and what isn't. We won't be able to see what people actually make and what they don't make. We won't know what art you really made and what art is made by a computer, what videos. We won't know what is us and what isn't us, what is worth liking and what isn't worth liking. And it's going to force us into a situation where we have to go back to the trenches,
which is
analog. Streaming is going to die because pirating will get too easy. People are going to go back to pirating shows and stealing. And it's just going to get so crazy that companies are like, what if the next big thing is I make another DVD player and I start selling DVDs again? And then the nostalgia hits and everyone loves it and we go back. Like, I truly think that we're going to head in that direction.
Okay. I want to get on board with you, but I have some questions. What do you mean streaming is going to die? I mean, streaming is the easiest way to get my message out right now. Why would that die?
What we're doing won't. What we're doing is going to stay, but like major Hollywood stuff, like movies and TV shows.
Sorry, when you say streaming, I thought you meant
talking about
YouTube. You mean like? Yeah.
I'm talking about Netflix, Hulu, Xbox Game Pass. I'm talking about like our mainstream entertainment, the things that we're the most passionate about, the cultural moments, the movies we all watch together, the games we all experience. It's going to go back to a type of thing where we're all experiencing it together. I was thinking about how
I hope that's true. I just don't know why it must be the case.
I think that we're fatigued. You know what I was thinking about? Like, what was the last TV show where everyone was in on it?
You're exactly
it
right.
Lasted.
This is Matt Walsh's argument about why culture is dead, because we're all consuming our isolated little entertainments that nobody else is.
We're not participating in a wider.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it like I watched a show. What show did I watch? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Alone? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I watched it and it was so good and everyone was talking about it and then it was just gone. Because we all watched it at once. It just came out. We all watched it and it's in the ether. It's just gone forever. And I was thinking about it like weird. And I was thinking about Seinfeld and how much I love Seinfeld and what an important part of my whole life it was, weirdly. And I was thinking about that and I was like, well, because if it's on for 9 years, they're playing the reruns all 9 years. Anytime you turn on the TV, you might be seeing a Seinfeld episode. And they're good, so you absorbed a ton of it. You didn't just watch it once and put it away forever. They're your friends. They're in your living room with you all the time. And you're like, they're a part of your everyday. They're kind of like a weird, like, if things get scary over here, I come back. Seinfeld's always there. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't have that anymore. We don't have they're always there.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
Yeah, I feel like maybe I might be wrong because I'm old and don't watch a lot of television the way I used to, but maybe The Office, or what was the last?
The Office is 20 years ago.
I know, but that's why I said I don't know if I'm right. So has there been something since then?
I think The Office was the last one.
And by since then, I don't mean something that continued through that period. I mean something that's begun afterwards.
That is huge and we all love. And that is,
Yeah.
no, I can't think of anything.
I know that.
I think maybe Always Sunny in Philadelphia might be.
But see, that began in the office.
time. Yeah. They filmed that on a Rebel T2i, their first episode. That's so crazy. That's a camera that's like wildly worse than the ones in your audience in your studio.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like an old school camera.
Yeah. I mean, I hope you're right. What do you think about this?
I don't know. That's the thing, is where it's like, I remember loving.
I have been watching I watched a few videos recently, one in particular, and I said to the guy whose company it was, I said, "This is incredible. Like, really funny. Where did you find this actor?" And they went, "Oh, that whole thing was AI." I felt so stupid because I felt so stupid. It didn't make it any less funny. I mean, there was clearly a lot of work that went into it. It wasn't just like, give me a little video about this. I mean,
Yeah.
But I felt stupid, and it made me wonder if we're going to go back to network television.
I just feel like
Network television, because I can trust this group is going to put out, as opposed to the myriads of AI slop.
I'm with you. I genuinely think we're going to move in that direction, or what's going to happen is everyone's going to keep doing their thing, but someone is going to be like, well, we're going to do it. And then it's going to, there's going to be a group of people, but I do think we're going back to analog. There are parent groups who are like, we're not going cell phones, we're getting landlines again.
Okay, but here's the argument against that point.
Let's hear it.
I would say for about 10 years now, people have been trying to put out the perfect dumb phone. And everyone gets super excited about it, but no one really wants one. I mean, I've had like 3 or 4, and I used them successfully for a while. But then I also would like my QR code for like Delta, or I'd like my bank app.
Yeah.
So after like 10 years of thinking and telling myself, now to be fair, I know people and you know people who live with dumb phones, and they're probably better off for it and good for them. It's not going to catch on. The dumb phone thing I don't think it'll ever catch on. And that's my argument against what you're saying, is that even though I like the idea of things going analog and people no longer being into streaming, it's just way too convenient.
Yeah,
for it to go away.
I think that stuff on the phone, we're just going to change our relationship where people are more interested in like experiences. So they'll just be like, yeah, my phone is like not a serious thing, and I'm going to go watch a movie over here.
I think the serious thing will always be the thing that gives me the most immediate pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I don't see people getting off social media, because they want to telegraph that they're so cool, and they can't do that except through something like social media.
I feel like one of the reasons the church is growing so much right now is because there are a lot of people who don't just want the thing that gives them the most pleasure.
Yeah.
They really do want the good thing.
Yeah.
I think enough people are interested in it, and this new generation is having babies.
Are they?
Our generation really messed it up. Not you. You crushed it.
Thanks, man.
Let's go, dog. You really held it down for us. I was messing up, and you were just on those battlefields making it happen, raising those kids. Now I'm trying to catch up.
But are you saying Gen Alpha? Who's
Z?
I mean, they might be
Z
a
and
little too
Alpha.
young. Yeah.
No, not Alpha.
I know a
Z.
lot of Gen Z guys who complain about not finding a woman.
But the birth rates are up.
Are they?
Like the math is there. I mean, at least I guess I know people online who complain, but like I know a lot of real life people who are just married, like getting married and everyone's having babies. I mean, me and my wife are always blown away. Like so many of our friends are having kids. Like people who I never thought in a million years would have kids that I'm friends with are like, I think I want to be a father. Me and my wife are talking about, and I'm like, yo, awesome. So we're moving into this like, kids are becoming a thing that people are like, oh, I actually want a family. I realize I'm in my 30s and I'm going to be miserable. I need to do something real. And then maybe all of these kids that people are having and this family dynamic they're going to build is going to bring them to a place where they're like, hey, I have a family. I just want to turn on the TV and not worry that my kids are going to see something crazy.
Yeah.
Like, because that is kind of what made TV popular in the first place, right? Is that you could just turn it on and know for a fact that you were protected in some way.
That's really interesting. That's really fascinating. Yeah. I think, being a parent immediately makes you a better person. You're all of a sudden concerned about what the local park is like and the safety of the streets and what's on television. Before that, you're like, whatever, like it's not my problem.
I can care less.
And I remember being on this is what, scares me about taking my kids on trips, because the filth people watch on airplanes, and the filth that disgusting airlines, for all their good, I'm sure they do a lot of good, but to allow that kind of pornography and violence on televisions is just Delta Airlines saying, we hate your children.
Yeah.
And are fine with your children being exposed to porn. They're fine with it.
Yeah. It is genuinely because they're just everything is catered towards single
Adults,
people in their 30s.
Stupid adults, which is why even comic books are pornographic today.
It's crazy. And I love
they're not made
comics.
for kids anymore.
I will
Screw
say
kids. It's
Absolute
about the adult.
Batman is pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that a
fun.
new one? Or?
Yeah, it's new. But comic books are crazy. I do love comics. But yeah, everything is for because all these millennials, so many of us, me included, I did this at one point. We got into our 30s and we just had Arrested Development. And we're just losers. Our generation's full of Disney adults and weirdos with joke tattoos who are in their 30s living their childhood dreams about having Ninja Turtle toys and stuff. Everyone has Arrested Development. So many single dudes in their late 30s and women too, that I'm it's not cool that you're single and trying to hook up with, you're a loser, that you're a burnout. You made it to your late 30s and all you do is play video games and try to hook up. This sucks, bro. And I've been getting to the point where I'm telling my friends, and honestly, they've been taking it really well. People are
how do you say it to them in a way that
gently?
So they know you love them and you're not just mocking them.
Yeah, I don't wait till my friend goes, bro, going on a surf trip, and I'm must be nice. I'm actually living a real life. I don't do that would suck. But when my friends are oh, dude, I'm so happy for you. You're having a kid. And I'm it's the most rewarding thing that I've ever experienced in my life. I know you love surfing and drinking and whatever you're up to, dog, but you got to get it together, bro. It's so good. I'm telling you, what you're doing sucks. And then they're receptive, yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. I got to do X and Y, So I've been really mask off. Just you're running out of time. Especially my friends in our 30s. It's you have no time. Dog, get on it. It's going to the same way that I was 21 and I blinked and then I was 33.
Yeah.
It's so dangerous. And I so badly want my friends to, dude, when you are single for literally 15 years and everyone's telling you to do self-care and everyone's telling you to do whatever you want and no one's telling you sleeping around is bad and everyone's telling you that you don't need a career and you don't have to justify your existence and you don't owe anyone anything and you're just nebulously kind of cool, I just exist and I feel pleasure and this is it, I'm doing it, fun. It's so hard to imagine how fulfilling and beautiful and good it feels to put in real work and have a family.
Yeah, it's actually, Father Jason Schramm pointed this out recently, it's actually humiliating for man to live without purpose.
Yes.
Ducks swim and other things fly, birds, animals have their purpose.
Squirrels fly too, you're right.
In Australia they can. The point is, it's humiliating for man to live without a purpose.
Yeah.
Especially because we're intellectual beings, and to pretend that we don't. Yeah, it's...
I read something really interesting about how our culture in America doesn't have an on-ramp into manhood. We used to kind of have the church and the Eagle Scouts or just a family tradition or a cultural German or French or Dutch, we used to have a very cultural thing. And now we're kind of just this loose amalgamation of just we're just a bunch of people here, whatever. And becoming a man isn't a thing. And they were talking about how we have all these young men, especially millennials and stuff, who have this arrested development and they're just kind of wandering around waiting for someone to give them permission to occupy their own life. Men waiting for permission to occupy their own life. And when you hear it that way, doesn't it just make, you're oh yeah,
it really resonates.
Yeah, because you're just kind of living for you're not living for anything, and you're kind of waiting for someone to tell you and now you can start. Hey, just so you know, you have permission. You're a grown man. Get out there and do. You're kind of just well, everyone says it's cool if I just work my dead end job and don't do anything, so I'll just do that. What?
I remember having these thoughts, and I'm sure it's been part of sci-fi movies The idea of the pleasure machine,
Yeah.
where it's like if you can hook yourself up to a pleasure machine and, would you do it? And that's essentially what the computer and pornography are, I suppose. And you think about all the evils that would result from such a thing. And maybe that's where we're at. And
We're getting close. Yeah, the Star Trek, the like holodeck or whatever.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they have like a room where you can make a hologram and you can interact with it physically.
Okay.
So you could just like Matrix style, like most beautiful woman I can imagine.
I see. Yeah.
And then she's in love with you.
Yeah.
And you're like, if you could do that, would you?
Yeah.
And what would that do to you over time?
Yeah, I think the problem is we would all go, no, but not we all, I'm being hyperbolic, but we all would. It's the same reason where if you have explained social media to yourself 5 minutes before you got on it, would you? You'd be like, no. And you may have meant that, but the baser part of you is like, but it's here and it's immediate, so yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Tough. I definitely wouldn't go into the pleasure machine. I don't trust myself. Even as a secular person, I don't think I would have done it. I would be scared.
I would hope not.
Is too much, which is probably why I saved myself from hard drugs.
I 1,000% would have. I 1,000% would have if it was immediately accessible. Like I think the reason I never did heroin or something is no one was offering it, and I was afraid it would kill me.
Yeah,
it would have a very immediate, real effect on me in the way that the pleasure machine might not, and so therefore, if it's right there, if it's in my pocket, then maybe I'll do that.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I would be scared. That's such an interesting thing. I guess we're getting close.
Which is why I think that embracing, I say this with great trepidation, embracing our suffering is the only way out of this hell.
Yeah.
Like the very particular suffering you have, the very particular awkward, I wish it weren't this way. I never wanted it to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
Why did my life end up like this way, that way? The embracing of that, I think, is the only way out of this pleasure machine hell.
I agree.
And I hate it so much. And I don't want to do it.
It's the worst answer. It's are you sure I can't just cut my nose off?
Yeah.
Like, come on. This is so hard. Just on my whole life, I just have to struggle and suffer.
Yes.
No, And it's difficult. Sainthood is hard.
Yeah.
It's so funny, like selling it to someone as compared to like the immediacy of anything else you can
because
do.
Suffering in the abstract is like love in the abstract. It's too easy to consent to, but love in the particular,
Yeah.
Because, before you're married, you have all these ideas, like yourself, you got married recently, of like the kind of woman you might or might not marry. And then you marry someone and she's a specific, particular individual with particular virtues and particular flaws, just like yourself. And then the temptation, I think, very often is the devil comes in. He doesn't even have to do anything radical. He just has to tempt you to imagine another life so you don't live the one you're currently in.
Yes.
So instead of tending to the woman in front of me, I imagine what it's like to have a wife or a husband who's different and has no edges or blemishes or weirdness or particularities to them. They're just sort of a fuzzy thing that would finally make me happy. And then I spend my whole days and this is true of the unmarried who just thinks, I hate that my life became like this. I'm 48 and I never got married and it doesn't look like I ever will. And even if I did, I've got so many health issues that I'm not sure how long I'm going to be here for, right? And so like to find yourself, sorry, I'm going on a rant here, but to find yourself in that place and then to imagine a life that could have been, but that isn't.
Yeah.
And so then there's the choice. I can choose between the life that isn't, the woman who I actually am not with because they don't exist, or the man I wish I was with but doesn't exist, or whatever, and this life I'm being called to live.
Right.
Which is a lot harder because it's particular and the suffering's particular. Does any of that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Yeah.
It's just the imagination, the war of the imagination.
It's so interesting too, the reverse. When someone is doing something they know they shouldn't do, how wildly they defend not ever even entertaining the other side.
Okay.
So like you talk to someone about the evil of pornography and they just like, for instance, let's just say this happened to me in real life. I was talking to a woman about she was like, and you think that women shouldn't be promiscuous? And I was like, yeah, as a Catholic, I don't think I don't think anyone should be promiscuous. I was like, I'm really struggling with if I should swim with my shirt on or not. That's where I'm at in my life. Like, and that's a real thing. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out modesty and swimming.
Well, for you, maybe you should wear a shirt. For me, it helps people in their chastity. When they come up to me and they whisper, "Thank you." I find it really offensive, actually.
Oh man, I just imagine like one day, a year from now, I'm gonna go visit you, and you're at the beach, and you take your shirt off, and you're gonna have the craziest back piece that you've been hiding from me this whole time.
Back piece? What's
yeah,
that?
just your whole back is covered in one tattoo.
Oh, funny.
Just Our Lady of Guadalupe or like Thug Life or something crazy. I don't know. I'm just waiting for that.
Yeah.
But people defend. So yada, yada, yada. You don't think they should be promiscuous? And then she said, so do you think I have a bad life? She was like in her 40s and very promiscuous. And I said, it's not my place to say if your life is bad or not, but I think it could be more fulfilling. I think you could be doing better things. And I do think that you'd be a more happy, fulfilled person if you weren't. That if you were married and had kids and whatever. And she, instead of just saying like, oh, okay, well, thank you for sharing your opinion, of course she's mad, because usually these people are when they talk to you about your opinions, which is so whatever. But the way she defended herself, like, actually, my life is better than you could ever imagine. And I'm more fulfilled and happy. And I'm so close to so many people. If I had kids, I wouldn't have been there for the friends and she begins to really lay her case out why the grass will never be greener and never could be greener and never would be greener. You're insane for even imagining the possibility of another life. And it's like, how funny that, in my good moments, I'm so full of love and like, and I'm sure of myself and of the church and my family, and I'm so in love. And then to see her like fighting against it, like, no, never. And then for me to be like in my most base, weakest, embarrassing, pathetic moments, like, oh, what if everyone was gone and it was just me? Or what if like my family like left me? Or like, you just have those crazy, what if it was different, And
your current circumstances.
Yeah. Or just any man, anyone who's doing well or doing the right thing, you're like, how much easier would it be? You kind of imagine it.
100%.
And of course you think to yourself, God forgive me. I hate that. Or you catch yourself or whatever. But for her to be doing the reverse, it's so interesting.
No, but in a way, I wouldn't trust a man who's been married for more than 5 minutes, who doesn't on some level understand the temptation to destroy everything and go and try to find Eden here.
Yeah.
What I respect more is when a guy's like, of course, I'm going to choose not to do that by God's grace, because I know that will lead to death. That reminds me, I think in the Proverbs, there is a way that seems right to man, but in the end is death. That's really good.
Yeah, it is.
So I've said this, but Jordan Peterson talks about, he's like, when someone says, how could you get addicted to drugs? He's like, what are you talking about? The interesting question is, why isn't everybody doing drugs all the time?
Yes.
That's what's interesting.
Yeah.
Because there's an answer to that. And that's really curious. Likewise, like, why would a man remain faithful to his wife? Why would a man strive to be free of pornography?
Right.
That's the interesting question. Why would anyone ever not? That's interesting.
Yeah. It's also like, hey, if the task you're asked of makes you you have that visceral reaction, but you can't think of a reason not, like, I guess there are people who trot out scientific stuff. A lot of it's been debunked.
Like what?
Like, if you don't masturbate, you'll get cancer.
Yeah, no, that's rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love to believe it, though.
Yeah.
It's like pot's good for you.
Right.
Right. It's like that.
Right.
Like, yeah. It's like the wine is good for your heart. You're like, all right, I think we all really want to believe this, but you find yourself desperately wanting to believe something like that.
Women trot that one out to me.
What's that?
I get in confrontations about doctrine all the time, funny enough, because I'm in public and I'm engaging with secular people, and they know who I am and they're engaging with me. But the debates I almost always have are with women. Men are almost always like, if they don't agree with me doctrinally, they just let it go.
Okay.
Or they'll be like, what do you think about this? And I'll go, they'll say, I'm gay. Do you hate me? And I say, no. And they go, do you think I should get married? And I go, well, no, I don't. But I don't think you shouldn't be happy. And I'm perfectly happy to be nice to you and the man you're with. I want good things for you.
Yes.
And they'll be like, oh, okay, sure. But I have these conversations with women and they'll be like really intense and mean about it. There's like,
I wonder if
going
it's
on.
because you look like you'd be an ally.
That's what it is, probably. And I
you're-
used to
you're a-
be.
You're a traitor to the cause.
I used to be, yeah. I think that's what really gets them is that you used to be.
Yeah.
You used to be. And I am attractive to those types of women.
Okay.
So I think they're also like annoyed
Yeah.
that I've like stolen the look,
Aha.
and then I went back to Catholic. And they're like, what?
You're wearing the enemy's outfit. Or they're wearing our outfit.
Yeah, yeah. You're
a traitor.
You're like our guy, but you're over there. What? Don't they hate you for looking like that? And I go, no, they're actually nicer to me than you. And they go, no, they're not. Which is the craziest thing. I have a bit about this where I used to tell people like, oh, you have face tattoos. That's crazy. I go, I used to be in a gang, and people go, no. And I'd be like, oh, so you know me. Yeah. Like, that's what happens. I'll get into an argument about faith or like what I believe, and I'll say something and they'll go, no. Or I'll tell them how it is. They'll be like, oh, and so like I'll tell the story about my conversion and be like, and like people threw rocks through my window and like physically attacked me and threatened to hurt my mom. And they were just insane when I converted to Christianity. Like atheists and leftists did this to me. And then the person I'm telling will look at me and go, that didn't happen. You go,
all right.
What do I do with this? Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess I dreamed that.
Yeah.
My bad. Like, and it's also so funny because if it was the reverse, to leave Catholicism and go to them,
they'd accept every story you had about the priest who yelled at you.
Yeah. But it also would be like, that's when you question their motives because they're over here like, oh, I can just drink and have sex and do whatever I want. Awesome. No more rules, no praying. Sundays are mine. I'm me, self-care all the time. Women, no confession. If I do something bad, I just keep it to myself. Sick. Like that's a guy, it's up to something. It makes people so mad when you go from doing anything to can't even imagine boobs. Will be in trouble if imagines boobs too much. You know what I mean? Like that blows their minds because what am I getting? What did I get from giving all that up? Like it makes them crazy, genuinely.
This reminds me, we're getting back to resentment again, but that reminds me of that line from, it was on The Big Bang Theory, which I'm not recommending people watch, but it was, what's his name said to Sheldon, his roommate. So Sheldon said to him something, okay, let's back up. This guy wanted to, I think, cheat on his girlfriend.
Okay.
And he was trying to justify it. And then Sheldon said to him, well, Nietzsche said that morality was relative or something like that. And he's like, thank you. Of course, he also died of syphilis or something.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Memory serves.
Dude, The Big Bang Theory. I forgot that show existed. That might be the show that started after that was the last cultural moment.
Yeah.
That was a huge one.
That started within the Office time frame though still, didn't it?
Maybe. It went on for a long time. I've seen a lot of it.
There's other shows that you're like, okay, I appreciate that you're trying to get off the ground, like that. What was that police show with Andy Samberg or Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Like,
I appreciate what you're trying to do. All right, so Big Bang Theory stopped in 2019.
Whoa. That feels like it happened sooner than it did.
But it started. When did it? I asked when it started, and it said 13.8 billion years ago. No, I'm talking about the show.
The more important thing, the show.
Yeah, so 2007. So that was about the same time as The Office.
You're right.
The Office started before then.
It just ran
The
longer.
American Office started like 2004, I want to say. Let's see. 2005, yeah.
The American Office.
Yeah.
The Superior Office.
Well, did you watch the English one? It's filthy, unfortunately.
I watched a little bit of it,
I mean, Ricky Gervais is one of the funniest men who's ever existed, without a doubt. But it's filthy, and I don't recommend people watching it.
I can't do like, sometimes British humor is just a little too like British, I guess. I don't know. Like you guys are like, hey everyone, could you guys be less British about it? Come on.
Yeah, let's see. This is the last thing we're gonna look up, and I promise we can stop. Okay. What was, I don't know, what do we type?
Computer. You want to look something
I want to
up?
know about a sitcom that worked. See, I guess after The Office, this was still during The Office, was Stranger Things. The first season was excellent. The last one was literally gay.
Really? I didn't watch.
I didn't watch it either, but everyone told me it was just pushing this.
Yeah, my
gay
brother
stuff.
told me it was weird, and he's usually not
Even
that
gay
worried
people
about
were
that
like,
stuff.
please.
No, totally. I know. I saw that. I was like, dude, how gay did you get that gay people were like, why?
Turning against you.
Why is this gay?
Okay. What has been the biggest sitcom since The Office ended?
It's gonna be The Big Bang.
The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Well done. And then it said followed closely by Modern Family, which was trash.
Young Sheldon is the third one.
Is it really?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll read it to you. What is Schitt's Creek? Is that a thing?
yeah, it's a thing.
Ted Lasso was filled with filth and no one should watch it.
Didn't watch it.
Crap.
That was a soccer movie.
It could
Is
have
that the filth you're
could have
referencing?
been good, but then Satan decided to write it. And it was just filled with debauchery and it was shameful.
Soccer is what he's referencing, by the way.
Yeah, not the sex. Yeah, sorry. The
Oh,
soccer.
there is actually?
The soccer. No, it's filled with sex. It was disgusting.
Wild.
I stopped immediately. Oh, you know what the best show has been since then?
Let's hear it.
Well, there's two shows. This is the best show ever made in my estimation.
Oh my
4-part series on Netflix called Adolescence. Please go and watch it.
Adolescence.
I beg you to watch it.
Cool. I've been watching Young Justice.
All right, so that's one.
It's a cartoon about the Teen Titans.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's great.
All right.
It's old.
But
It's not
anyway,
old, but
no, you'll love. Okay, so this movie I just said, Adolescence.
Adolescence.
It's a 4-part British psychological drama where each show is filmed with one continuous take. The acting is superb. It's incredibly immersive. It's quite now look, watching at home, you look into this yourself before you watch it because it deals with very serious themes. There's no explicit thing trying to make you sexually aroused ever, which is great.
Yeah. But it's honest about the human condition.
Please watch it.
Okay, I will.
It's excellent.
Yeah. Me and my wife
All
are
right,
always.
so that was
looking for something.
one, but then the other, what else has been good that's come out ever? I don't know. I like that. Did you ever watch the nuclear meltdown in
Mormon
Kiev?
Housewives?
No.
Oh, Chernobyl. Yes.
Chernobyl was excellent.
Same difference though. Similar themes.
meltdown. O.J. Simpson, that one I think that was on Hulu back in the day. That was good.
I didn't watch the O.J.
really
Simpson
well
thing.
done.
Dude, I don't really watch that much. I watch a little anime here and there.
I'd be cool. I'd be fine liking it. You know how you just can't make yourself like what you wish you could like?
Genuinely,
I tried to watch One Punch Man. I thought that's kind of fun, and I just couldn't keep caring.
Yeah, you might have aged out. You have to it has to tickle your nostalgia a little bit.
Okay, but this is bananas though, right? Based on audience ratings, streaming popularity, the most popular, I'm just repeating what I just said, but I can't believe that this is it, is The Big Bang Theory, which doesn't count because it started during The Office, like 2 years after. Modern Family doesn't count. Middle-aged women are into it. Third sexist thing I've said today. Schitt's Creek, never watched it.
That's got that one actor who did Punk'd. What was his name?
I don't know.
Okay, cool.
But
I just
Ted
love
Lasso,
having
Stupid, Abbott Elementary, no idea, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like none of these are that good.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is funny for sure.
It's quick paced, but even the quick pace gets too much for me. I feel like it's too sarcastic constantly. Anyway, now I'm just telling you what I find annoying, which is different to, has there been a culturally kind of unifying sitcom? That was the question.
Yeah.
And there really hasn't been. I mean, unless you think it's
crazy
one of them.
when you really think about it. When we were all participating in culture together, the Daytona 500 is all over the news, or we're all know about Seinfeld.
Yeah, Simpsons,
even if you're not
Friends,
if you're not a huge fan, you always have the fact that Seinfeld is in your life as a thing in common with other people.
Yeah. That you can, like you and I could reference it, not even just assuming that the two of us know about it.
Culture was happening to all of us all the time. Now you and I are sitting here being like, these are the shows I like, and I'm like, I don't know what those are, and you're like, these are the shows I like, and we live in different worlds. And we're not having a cultural moment together. Our only cultural moment is the church, and the fact that we're both millennial men, I suppose, and we like a lot of the same thing. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if we didn't know each other, there's like that. I want that back so badly.
Yeah.
This like cultural, it's not even glue because it doesn't actually hold you together, but it's sort of like the spackle on top of culture.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
That sort of like gets us like, we're all different shaped rocks or whatever in this wall, but you just spackle it over and we're all like, yeah, but this is what gets us all here.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
And we don't have that anymore. And I feel it. I feel it when I'm out in the world. I don't like it. I want to be back to whatever that was. I'm hoping when I go back to Utah, I'm feeling a little Utah.
You excited about that?
Oh, dude, I'm so excited. I love Utah so much. I love people from Utah.
Beautiful. Utah's beautiful.
I love the country. I love no rules. I love just having to have my guns, not having to worry about licenses or like cops or like, dude, North Carolina, they're like, you have to have a license to have your gun here. And like every other building is like, not allowed to have it. And I'm just
I was
like
shocked to see that the firing range was still a method of execution. You'd be shot to death.
in Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
They will shoot you.
We will.
Which
we did it in
You end up
2018.
the same amount of dead as the injection, but it just seems way more barbaric.
It's not
A firing squad is what I meant to say. Fire.
You know what's so funny? I genuinely, for real, when I had a leftist podcast, one of my biggest debates I ever got in was that I unironically think the firing squad is more humane by far than lethal injection.
Yeah.
And so many people, because Utah killed someone by firing squad in 2018. This is when I had my show.
Yeah.
And it was a big thing. And people were so mad. And I was like, why are we mad about this?
Why do you think
death,
it's more humane?
I'm not a pro death penalty guy, but if you're going to do it,
Yeah.
that's the way to do it. Because firstly, it's dignified. Secondly, you don't know, no one knows who killed the person. Because I think that 5 people fire and 3 of the rounds are fake.
Can't they mimic that with the lethal injection? They could have several buttons on a wall that everyone presses and only one works.
I suppose they could, but they don't. They usually have a guy who travels around and just kills everybody. They did a documentary about a dude from the 90s who did that, and they didn't know who would be willing to do it, and this like random prison.
I'll do it.
Yeah, literally, but he wasn't creepy about it. He was just kind of like very stoic, like, well, if it needs to be done, I guess I'll do it. And he did it, and then the sheriff was like, we don't want to kill, I don't want to be the person who kills the next guy. Do you think you could come back next month? I'll pay you. And he was like, oh, I guess so. And then someone in like Tennessee called him. And he was like,
Starts a website.
oh, I guess I'll drive down. No, that's what happens. He ends up being the guy, and he's just traveling around the country executing people, pushing the button or pulling the lever or whatever.
Look, it's more dignified work than an abortionist, but
It's not.
still don't promote it.
It's executioner is a valid job that you can have in a just society, but we don't need to be doing that right now. We don't need to though, so let's maybe not. But yeah, I don't trust the state. Have you ever seen the Vatican executioner's sword?
No.
There was a Vatican executioner for a while. Okay. Obviously, people have been put to death for a while. People were up to wild stuff in the medieval times, sentencing them to death. He had a sword. An executioner's sword doesn't have a point.
Okay.
The point is usually how you kill someone in war. Slashing people doesn't kill them. It usually inconveniences them.
Just annoys them.
Or it just hurts a lot, but it very rarely kills you. And so that's why the Romans are so good at war. The gladius is a pokey sword.
Okay.
They're not slashing, they're stabbing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Napoleon very famously was always, anytime like the cavalry would ride by him, he would go, the point. He would always be telling people, stab, don't slash. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So,
Point is, no idea where we are.
no idea where we are. I'm losing it.
Thanks for being on my show.
I love it. I love to lose my train of thought and then we just end. And this is the most
I don't know if
authentic way
anyone
I could
else
do it.
enjoys them, but I love just having conversations like this.
Me too.
And I love talking to you. You're a good man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much. I love you, brother. It's great to be here.
Anything you want to push, sell, promote?
Oh yeah, come to my tour. So I'm about to have a baby. I'm not on tour for a month. This is going to be after that. So, hello, Shayne from the future. You have a baby. I hope you weren't too cringed out by watching this podcast, probably with your wife. If you're a person who's not me watching this, I'm on tour. You can find me at ShayneSmithComedy.com or on Instagram at ShayDozer. That's the only one I use really, or Facebook, I guess, because it's attached. Anyway, I'm on tour. You can come see me. I'm going to be performing live. It's going to be great. If you're watching this show, I promise you want to see me live this year.
And if you've watched this far,
if you've watched this far, especially, like, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to blow your socks off. Come out and watch the show. And that's all I have to promote.
sweet, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I cannot believe you made it all the way to the end of this interview. The fact that you did shows me that you might enjoy a lot of the stuff that we do here at Pints with Aquinas. So please click subscribe, click the bell button. We really appreciate it.